A video buffering.
Right,
Use
we're back.
load
We're back.
toggle. Right.
According to this.
Yeah,
You can't
we've
talk to a
returned.
human being at Virgin. They've been,
I wonder if this is why it was broken up so many times last week.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Because of why it posted it broken up.
Yes.
Because of every time
Yeah.
you drop. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah,
exactly what
it
happened.
makes this new file every time she drops and restarts.
Wow,
Depends how long
that's
it goes for.
very
We're going to have
frustrating.
to wait and see. It's a pain in the ass. I haven't had a landline telephone for several years now. Good few years, in fact. 10 maybe.
You
It
have them,
used
you
to-
didn't use them, right?
However, they charged me for it, line rental and whatever, and I have to phone them up to get the money back. Last time I did, they refused. So
Wow.
I'm going to have to... I keep meaning to go to the Ombudsman and say, they're basically saying to me, you've got to stay with us, otherwise if you disconnect your landline, you'll have to pay more.
Uh-huh.
And it's thuggery, quite frankly.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
So I think I am
They
going
want
to
to
go
force things on you.
I'm going to go to Ofgem. Is it
Buy my
Ofgem? Hang on. No, not
package.
Ofgem. Ofcom. I think it's Ofcom.
As opposed to off-front.
Well, Ofgem is the energy people.
I never knew Jem had her own off.
Ofgem, I do apologise.
It's what
Jen.
she did after the holograms.
Ah, okay. All right.
You see,
That's
I
truly outrageous.
thought it was Jem Finch. Literary reference alert.
Oh no! I was in the
Thank you.
80s cartoon.
She was in the 80s.
Yeah, I was in To
cartoon
Kill a
spot.
Mockingbird. You're the English teacher. Let's just look at that for a moment.
Yeah, I'm not a. I know this is literary, controversy. I'm not a huge fan of To Kill a Mockingbird.
Interesting. We'll have to
What?
discuss that at some stage.
I'm just.
I
not-
don't think I got
Yeah.
upset because it does not have instructions on how to actually kill a mockingbird in it.
Well, they do explicitly say not to do it.
To kill
Yeah,
a mockingbird.
yeah.
Not to do it.
The clue's in
Yeah,
the
I
book.
just-
And they say why. But
They
you
do
know,
say
I get it.
why.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know. I think
So, what is your problem with To Kill a Mockingbird?
I think because, and it has been a long time since I read it. I think because it's from a child's point of view, and it's about how the child views their father, really.
In the world to another extent, yeah.
Yeah, and the neighborhood and the people, and it's you're kind of stuck in that perspective, which is kind of the point of the novel. But you just don't you don't get any of the adults' perspectives on it. You have how they talk to the child. But I don't know. It just doesn't quite work for me. And it's a me thing, not necessarily a novel thing.
So I've always thought that the book, through looking through the eyes of the child, explains the adults. It's but that's just me.
You know, it's Harper Lee's one-off, essentially, right?
Well,
Yeah.
they released something
and
after a
Done.
death and whatever, didn't they? Which apparently was quite racist. Atticus apparently turned out to be a racist in the end.
It was an earlier draft, apparently, more or less,
I
like
don't
an
know.
earlier version.
remember
I
what
don't
it was
know. I
called.
didn't read that one.
I've just embraced
know. I've
the
never
Tao
seen
of
it.
Boo Radley. I don't want to go out of my house. I don't want to see other people. I'm very happy just
You
staying
are
here.
Boo
All my
Radley.
stuff
Yeah.
is here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's
Boo
fair.
Radley is a good character.
There was a #1 hit over
He's an
here called
interesting
Wake Up Boo,
character.
which was funny.
You know.
Everybody's going, where's this Boo? Fucking Boo
He's
Radley, you
he's
idiots.
present, but not for most of the book or movie.
He is a presence
Exactly.
who weighs heavily on the kids because he's the neighborhood bogeyman.
Toys appear in a tree. Well, yeah, but while he's the neighborhood boogeyman, they actually meet a real boogeyman.
They do.
And that's the thing, and that's it's that journey from childhood to adulthood. They don't make it to adult, but they do lose a tragic piece of innocence.
Yes.
They do grow dramatically by the end of the book, movie, whichever, either one. And there's of course always a price to be paid for that, which Jem gets a broken arm,
Yep.
Scout almost gets knifed. It's
No,
they
I
meet
did-
Boo Radley.
we
you know.
did it for our mock O level. back in the 4th year secondary school. And then for the following year, because it was 1984, we did 1984.
Yeah, I don't like
Of course.
1984 either because I hate dystopian
Didn't everybody?
literature.
Yeah, right. Like
We did a whole
remember 1984
year
and everybody was
of dystopian literature, and at the end of the year, I gave my teacher. She was leaving. She and
Just
her
a block
husband
of
were leaving.
concrete. There you go.
No, I gave her a copy of All Creatures Great and Small and said there is in fact happy literature in the world.
Good on you. Good on you. Throw some James Harriet at her and tell her, "Look, woman, wake up!" Right? No, I think you know what kills me about the sci-fi writers is that they're all writing about 20 or 30 years in the future, and it's flying cars and laser beams and teleportation and all this other shit, and it's like,
That's the sort of stuff that dates.
well, you know, no,
It
just
is
how
a
they predicted these
Distant year
ridiculous advances in
2023,
such a
and
short amount
mankind
of
is
time.
exploring the stars, and
Yeah, like
yeah, they had such
Fast
big
as Light
hopes
Drive
for us.
way before
did,
2000,
didn't
like
they?
in the 90s,
They
and I'm
did.
like,
Well, if we had gotten our act together and cooperated properly, we probably could have gotten there.
we could have gotten some places. I'm not sure about, you know,
I have
faster than light drives or something, but
I
I
have
think
no
we could have done a lot
patience.
more. Yes.
I have no patience for dystopian literature because it's just unnecessarily negative. There's enough negative in the world. Like in real world, there's enough negativity.
Full
If
of
I
it.
could
get you.
create a
You're
world
right.
in literature, and I'm creating a fantasy world where I'm trying to put across the ideas of humanity, why in the world would I make it negative? Why wouldn't I put out into the world the absolute most interesting, positive kind of world and make a happy ending that maybe wouldn't happen in real life?
Because
Why would I
happy
want to
stories
create
don't
negative?
sell.
Well, that's what Star Trek did.
Well, see, you
Yeah.
say happy, yes, and that's why I like Star Trek. And you say happy stuff doesn't sell, but in fact, the largest selling genre is romance, and that one of the elements of the genre is a happy ending.
No.
No, well,
sorry, romance
that's
is not the
differing
genre name.
happy ending.
Vomiting
I
is the name of the
I
genre.
beg to differ.
I don't like
Well,
romance.
There's
yes,
a lot
but romance-
of very good
romance
romance,
novels, they do that.
including a Doctor Who writer.
Ewan McCormack.
But the romance novels
Jenny
do
Colgan.
have
Jenny-
a
I- it
large
was one or
portion
the
of the
other.
middle where the main characters are tortured and such, right? So they suffer a lot generally, if I understand the genre correctly, before they get that happy ending, which I think kind of makes up for the whole, you know, not just that the world is shit, just they go through all this horrible shit, and then, oh, at last the ending happy somehow.
Usually there's
confuses me.
some kind of major misunderstanding.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
Normally from Hugh Grant.
well,
And it-
Well, that's
and it
easy to
possibly-
do. I mean, it's Hugh Grant.
Yeah, cross-dressing prostitute, yeah. Mhm.
but there's usually some kind of depending on the the story. Sometimes it's miscommunication and that the person hasn't actually done whatever it is that's caused the problem. And sometimes they actually have, and they have to come back and rebuild the relationship by apologizing, usually, and actually communicating instead of assuming things about each other.
Mhm.
There's
I
always
just-
a point in the book where people sit down and have that conversation that they've been avoiding the whole book.
I just
And
got
then-
handed to the romance
Message
writers.
received.
I never knew that, you know, you could use engorged and throbbing so many times
So many different ways.
in a book. It's just amazing.
I love the
Well, then-
descriptive language that they use in some of those. Really titillates me. I have to admit, my
That is an
purple-headed love
element.
warrior.
That
Not
word
all
actually
of them
gets
have
used
that
too.
element, but that is an element. It's I mean, I have to say I like Jenny Colgan's books. I love, and I've read quite a few of them. And I interviewed her years and years and years ago when she wrote her first Doctor Who book.
Interesting. Cool.
Those were the days.
She wrote under J.T. Colgan for Doctor Who.
She did. Back on the Who cast.
Yeah, that
Never-
was Who
we,
cast.
We never
Yeah.
quite worked out what we were going to do from one week to the next because Seb would always throw things at us. You never quite knew what you were going to have. Oh, by the
It
way,
was
I've
a little
organised
bit
an
of a-
interview with Tom Baker. We're going down to Rill on this. What? It's,
What?
That's a great video of the two of y'all.
I treasure that video. And that's the video I've got him.
Yeah.
This is the old fool. And it was a lovely,
link that somewhere?
lovely day. It really was.
I think I caught part of that, but can you link that?
I'll
'Cause
find
I
it
remember
for
you
you.
It's on
talking about it.
YouTube.
I'll find it for you.
Yeah.
But it was, that was a lovely day.
Yeah.
Anyway, anybody got anything else to raise?
I did go to last week. The reason I wasn't here is because
Oh,
I was
yes,
at the
yes.
Renaissance Festival.
Now, please tell me you went as part of the science department with your tricorder.
I did not. Danielle and I went and had a
Um,
wonderful time.
Is this one with Don Juan and Miguel? No, probably
No.
not.
No.
I miss those guys. They were fixtures up at our Renaissance
Well,
Festival
I mean, I don't know. I
until
wandered
recently.
around. We wandered around to lots of different stalls, and saw some jousting, which was fun. And I got a cool hairpin, which is really pretty.
I'm sorry.
cool.
I'm so sorry. As I was leaving the shop this afternoon, I'm on my walking stick, and a guy comes in, and he's got his walking stick, and it's a case of who's going to give way first. And I turn around and say, if we try and joust, we're both going to fall over backwards. It's just... Sorry, so it's just reminded me.
True.
I still would like to see it just so I could take some bets.
Yeah, I definitely would have done that. I would have laid the odds.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
That
It was a
would've
lot
been cool.
of fun, and I'd never been before, and it was up in Plant City. Was it Plant City? No, it was in Dade City, and so we had to drive. Those are two different places. Plant City is where the strawberries come from.
sounds right.
Hence the name Plant.
Yeah.
And what was the other
Well,
one
you
called?
guys- Dade City.
Oh, not Dave City. I was going to say.
No. Dade.
Don't tell me that's where they produce Daves.
That's where all the Daves come from, correct?
That's
In
Peckham.
America, every single one, they have a whole,
Yes.
cottage clone industry.
Yeah,
Yep. One city, boom, just
Cat's
Daves
ass.
roll
over and
out.
over again. But if you're
Yep,
on the
yep.
East Coast and you've got strawberries from Florida, the likelihood is they're from Plant City. So check in your little box.
What about
Strawberries.
avocados from Mexico?
Yes, they do that as well. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and I had never been before, so it was an adventure.
Fair enough. We don't have things like that over here. Renaissance
Well,
fairs,
real
per se.
history.
Technically, you guys have the
I
Renaissance.
suppose that's true. I
Yeah.
know when I was young back in Jersey, we'd do old days stuff like a threshing fair when they get the hay thresher out and whatever. And the women would be dressing up in the old Jersey bonnets, and there'd be this Irene Lesueur would be there talking in Jersey French, and yeah, it got very alcoholic.
Yeah, that's about the size of it for Renaissance Festival.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like when they make
Yeah.
black butter, which is made from apples. Some of it accidentally gets turned into
They call it
cider.
apple butter here, but okay.
Black butter. It's a Jersey. Well, it was very useful in the war.
Yeah, it's apple butter. We
Yeah.
have a lot of
Apple
apple
butter.
orchards
It was
up here.
very useful
They
in the
sell
war
it here, yeah. We have it here.
because there were no fucking supplies coming in. Yeah. So well, if no one's got anything else to say, we're sort of half an hour in. I'm not entirely certain because of the Virgin Media nonsense.
The first 15 minutes don't count.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
But to be
that's
fair,
true.
we could say that about any one of our shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could say that about
Lovely,
most of the
timey-wimey.
show.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
It's probably true as well.
It is. Yep. Hang on a moment. I've got to find the right thing here. And now, from the worlds of
No
BBC
shit.
Television's Doctor Who, it's Doctor Who. Woot. I forgot that was a bit longer than normal. A third Doctor Who, and there's more than one, we know this now, You got Trevor Trelaw out there. You got John Culshaw out there. I gotta stop calling him bloody Trevor. It's Tim Trelaw. But anyway, this is where we close up what we've been doing these past few weeks, because we've had an overdose of Pertwee, to be fair. But we're looking at Planet of the Spiders, which is the end of the Mike Yates arc, and also the end of the Doctor's arc, which is why I got you lot to watch The Time Monster last week. I'm pretty sure everybody knows the plot of Planet of the Spiders, but so I'm going to hand over, and as we go along, if we find points, we'll discuss them. Who would like to go first? Don't all charge at once.
Charge. What's
You get this in school.
I really like the idea that you could essentially turn a very large spider into a backpack very easily. Fashion statement, or no, because they handily can turn quite invisible. We see the
and if you get the right kind, you can totally, go
Get
the
zappy
left
people and
path,
stuff.
left side.
Exactly right, and that's
Yep,
always
take
cool.
the left turn.
Some give you superpowers and stuff.
Yes.
I like the character of the Doctor's mentor. It's funny that all of this happens kind of under his nose,
It's a big
and
nose.
he doesn't take a more active role in at least not to start in remedying the situation that he kind of caused in a way
Do you know who played?
with his teachings and by not monitoring his students and so forth.
Do you know who played Campo, the monk, his mentor?
Oh, I can't remember the name.
You don't need
I'm
the
sorry.
name, but it's the same actor who played King Dalios in The Time Monster.
Oh, was it the same guy?
Yes.
That's cool.
So there's all these little links. The voice
Right,
of the Great
tied
One
together.
was provided
Now-
by Delgado. Yes, Roger Delgado's wife,
Right.
and he was dead.
Is
So
that supposed to be the same character though? Is it still, as in the Time Monster, is that still the Doctor's guru or whatever from childhood, or is it just the actor playing a different role?
I think it's the actor playing a different role, because it's reported
Okay.
in The Time Monster that Dalios
Because
is dead.
I know
So
that teacher figure does appear in other episodes of Doctor Who as his childhood mentor.
no.
He does appear in other somewhere.
No.
What have I seen that or heard it? He does appear in the books or somewhere that he appears in other sources. Maybe I'm
He
wrong,
was
but I
referenced
could have sworn it was in
in
other episodes.
one of the big finishes, I think, that
Yeah.
we listened to.
And
He's in some of the big finishes, maybe? Okay.
We have met other mentors of the Doctor, which is where you could be getting a bit mixed up.
Yes, but this is the one he was talking to with Joe in the dungeon cell when he
Yes.
tells that story
Yes.
about the one-eyed guy up the mountain,
Yep.
and it's that particular influential character from his past that
Ornamental
is so
monk.
yes, that is so influential in his life and has such a bearing on his, I guess his destiny, if you want to call it that, or his life path. So I thought that was kind of interesting. What else was there? Bugs, spiders,
Mike Yates.
people, colonies. There was a weird thing about the colony. How the colony from Earth got on the other planet, and then how the bugs got there and back and forth. They weren't. I didn't think, or maybe I was confused, but how the colony occurred before Earth was at the technological level to send spaceships out like that or something, or was there a time change between contacting the spiders and the spiders coming back to Earth?
Yes. Oh yeah,
That was
it was
confusing.
temporal. Oh, very much so.
Okay.
This is meant to be this in the far future. When the Doctor went
Right.
there in the Green Death, it's a fairly good chance he was there contemporaneously.
Oh, okay,
Thank
I got you. Because that was what
but,
was. That's where it got
Planet of
confusing
Spiders,
because it
it's in
seemed
the
like they were
future.
starting to confuse timelines
No, it's far in the future.
a little bit. Okay.
And, yeah.
What else? I'm trying to think of other things to say. Somebody yell something out.
What about Mike
Who
Yates? We've come to the end of his story,
Mm-hmm.
What about Mike Yates?
and
Well,
that's
I
what we
think
think of it.
I think
Boot.
that he's come to peace
Bye-bye, Mike.
with himself.
Mhm.
Or at least that's what he's really attempting to do. And he's not 100% successful, but who really
No.
is? And when he sees sketchiness going on, he goes to Sarah
Yep. And
because
it's
he
explained.
trusts her.
It's not just that, it's also, it'd be a bit awkward him going to unit.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, he went to unit.
But I know, like, he trusts her in a way that maybe Joe, if Joe were still around, maybe wouldn't.
That's interesting. That's an interesting thought, considering how close Mike Yates and Joe were supposed to be.
Yeah.
I mean, in The Green Death, it's, bad luck Mike.
Yeah,
sort of
well,
thing,
see, I think a little of the reason he goes off the rails is because he was jealous. And then he kind of doesn't know what to
jealousy.
do with himself.
Well, it
Was
was.
his origin ever sorted clearly? Because, like, isn't when one story he starts off in unit as an enlisted guy or something, but in another part he's referred to as a captain or something like that? Like,
he's only
he was
ever.
taken from the RAF or something.
He's only ever been a captain in unit that we know of. The extended media, the extended universe, yes, they've had stuff with him as a sergeant and beforehand and whatever. But on the telly, it's just Captain Yates. The traitor.
I think he also tries off here.
He tries what? Sorry, my love?
He tries to redeem himself.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. And he does so by taking that blast. Mm-hmm. For it was either Campo or Choji, I can never remember. But he takes the blast and, actually, that's something else we need to talk about. Somebody else do some talking.
Well, sacrifice is a thing in here that is a running theme. Mm-hmm. It's why Mike survives. Mm-hmm. It's why Tommy survives.
We'll get to Tommy, don't worry.
Very fond of Tommy. And it's what the Doctor does. He sacrifices himself, and he's kind of inspired everybody who follows him to put other people first.
It's based on Buddhism. I mean, I know
Tibet
it's set.
Buddhism, to be
I
specific,
know
yeah.
it's set at a Buddhist monastery, but the actual story is based. Barry Letts was a Buddhist, and so he started to bring some of his beliefs in as a very good way.
All the rage in the 60s at the time,
Doctor.
yeah.
And in this particular case, greed, which is the Doctor is greed for knowledge, and that's what kicked it all off, wasn't it? So.
Well. So it's a lack of planning on the Great One's part. Because she's planned this whole, I'm going to take over the universe by expanding my mind by using this crystalline structure, which has historically never gone well for any characters.
Do spiders have history books?
Well, you would think. They've got enough eyes to read them with, and enough hands to hold them with. You'd think
okay, let's stop with the description of spiders and move away from them.
One spider
exactly.
tried to,
I
but
mean, they're
failed at the very
big
end,
and
right?
hairy with lots of legs and their little mouth.
They will slap the
I mean,
back
you
of your
can
leg,
see it
young
right
man.
behind her, right there on the
No, you can't.
on the screen.
No, you can't. No, you
Oh, the
can't.
mouth is more of a
Can't!
little thing that goes like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Like
don't
Or
wanna
it
look
goes
on
down like
just-
this is the calipeds, though. The pedipalps with the calipeds inside, the little fangle things that stick out, because they don't really bite. They actually sort of headbutt you.
Brian.
And then
And
inject
let's
their
face
venom.
it. Let's just be happy Spider-Man can shoot bugs from his hands instead
Yes,
of
instead of where it should
it's
have come
supposed to
from.
be located.
Yep.
Be very
Sorry,
different.
that's just reminded me of Line in No Way Home.
Yeah. Jack Black actually did a really good riff on that one time. It was great.
Oh, dear.
Well, she makes this crystalline structure, and the one thing she needs is the one
thing.
crystal that the Doctor happens
Well,
to have.
this
that is
goes
perfectly
back to
safe.
the timeline thing we were talking about. How is she, if the Doctor got the blue crystal years before, how is the Great One aware of it unless she can sense it in the Great Web and knows there's something missing that she needs to get to complete it? What do you think?
No, aren't these mountains full of blue crystals?
Yeah, but this is a particular
No.
one that she has to have.
Yeah,
She
but
must
no,
have
he
it.
stole
She
the crystal
must.
before that, though. She needed the crystal, but he stole it before
She was even
they
there.
met.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
guessing.
she knew of its existence, and that it had been stolen. She just didn't know who had it.
I don't think.
Apparently.
No. I personally, I think that Pertwee got the blue crystal before the spiders were ever on Metebelis 3, and that basically,
Possibly.
as she built her lattice of crystals, her mind expanded, and because
She
we
could
know,
sense
we
one
know
was out
what the
there somewhere,
crystals can
but-
do to you, and I don't know what all
Right.
this is, by the way.
I know exactly why she wanted
and
to
she
have
sensed
that
it.
crystal.
Go on, was it pretty?
No,
Oh.
no, had nothing to do with that.
Oh.
It was the plot.
Ah,
Yeah.
right.
It's a MacGuffin. It's like unobtainium.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
But
Yeah.
I
Fair.
would think
Titanium, yes.
if there's a whole mountain full of crystals, you could just make another one.
Grab
that
another
fits the
blue
thing.
crystal, right?
And carve it
another
to the
one,
shape
right?
you
You would
need and
think.
stick it in the
I
thing
think
that
it's
you need.
I think it depends on what the
Problem
crystal,
solved.
the
Yeah.
interior lattice is. Something about the interior
But
lattice
somehow,
makeup of it.
only
makes
this
it
one
special.
crystal will do.
Mhm.
Right. The precious.
It is
So
like
if
you
I
say.
could
It's a bit MacGuffin-y.
So, as a supervillain, if I were to
Mhm.
explain my plan to a 5-year-old
Very
child,
MacGuffin-y.
they could point out the holes in these plans.
Oh, yes.
You would need to change your plan.
You'd think
You would need to
so.
change
But
your
you
plan. right?
you'd have to
That's
make
the problem,
no.
though.
You ask the child to change your plan.
Villains don't have a
How
handy
would I
5-year-old
fix
child to
this?
run their
Well,
plans
why
fast,
can't
and
you
that's
just
why these
make
plans
one?
fail so often. Right.
Just make one. Right. I don't see why this is a problem.
Yeah.
You see, this is
Maybe,
sorry.
maybe,
You see,
maybe she's alienated. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, please.
I was just gonna say maybe she's alienated all the carvers on the planet, like the
All the
humans
blue
who couldn't-
crystal makers?
Right. like,
Well, they're not allowed to go
Yeah.
near the blue crystal, are they?
right. So maybe she's like created her own problem.
Yeah, I think you could be right
Yeah.
there. Do we like the model
But
work?
they definitely haven't made friends with the humans, so
Do we like the model work?
Of the
Ooh.
spiders.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. Yeah.
the cheeky dancing spiders were kind of fun.
It was,
You could see the strings when they're leaping around and stuff, but it was all right.
I
I
think
weren't
the
there for
Council of
the
Spiders
effects, all told.
was
Yeah.
amusing.
now.
I
let
love
us-
the spider backpacks, though. I love the spider backpacks. Those were great. I thought that was just awesome.
Can we just take a moment to talk about possibly one of the greatest characters / greatest performers in Doctor Who? You want a cup of tea, mister? You want a cup of tea with Tommy?
Yeah, sweet
Tommy is one of
Sweet
the best
Tommy.
ever characters. And I adore him. I really do.
Reed.
And the actor, the performance. I mean, Simon Rouse gives a brilliant performance as a guy going through a mental breakdown in Kinder. But this guy, Tommy is just... I don't know what to say. It's just so good. You know, I don't have anything to compare it against. All I know is he sold me the character totally and made me fall in love with the character. So...
And then you get that scene where he's reading and the crystal has affected him.
Yeah.
And he's reading a really simple children's book. And you see it happen across his face as it's happening in his reading.
Mm-hmm.
That he's becoming more
He
and
does a
more
good job with
fluent.
that revelation, yeah.
That's pretty.
That's
it
a good
isn't-
reveal.
Then
like that.
that wonderful little line where he's reading Blake, isn't he? Tiger, tiger, and he goes, "Oh, that's pretty." No, it's beautiful. And it's just lovely. And I loved Choji or Kampa. I can never remember which one. He's completely unfazed, and it's when everything's new, how can you be surprised? Which is a great
Yes.
Buddhist saying. So we love Tommy. Brian, do talking.
Oh,
I wanted to
I
mention
didn't
the
get
double
to finish
regen,
this. I was a little
Oh.
busy this weekend.
Yeah. On what, Brian? On what?
Oh, I was playing Diablo 4 beta.
Yes. Take this moment to give us your thoughts upon it.
Okay. So what I did see was in the opening, I
Sorry,
saw
I
a
meant
whole
Diablo,
bunch of
but
guys.
okay.
I saw a whole bunch of guys
Oh, man, me, bad me.
playing the most intense shoots and ladders game I have ever seen in my life. I mean, these guys were zeroed in on it. So moving on from that, I was surprised that the doctor, he actually had a job.
Mm.
Think about it. He
Killing
was doing
poor Professor
research
Clegg.
on psychic phenomena for UNIT.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Amongst other things, yeah.
How many times has the doctor had a
Do
freaking
you
job?
think he was
really?
doing it for UNIT or for himself? Because the Brigadier seemed completely bewildered.
I think he didn't care. It was something to shut them up. Hey, look, I'm using UNIT resources.
Right.
I'm doing stuff for you.
I'm researching psychic phenomena.
I think that's been
And
Unit's approach
somebody
to the
up
doctor the whole
top said,
time,
yes,
right? To
this
stand
is a
back
good
and let him
idea.
do what
Let's
he
put
does.
money into it.
And he
Right.
died. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh dear.
Poor guy.
I know, poor Professor Clegg, poor Cyril Shaps. He's the Archimandrite, you know. He likes
Well,
cats.
someone has to be.
Yeah, I know. I wrote a song about that. I'm not going to sing the song.
Thank you.
That's all right.
You wanted to.
I did. I
She
couldn't
did.
help it. Oh,
She's
dear.
singing it now in her head.
Mhm.
See, I wasn't until you just said that, you git.
Yep.
It's the power of suggestion.
Mhm.
Maybe
Hey.
that's my psychic power.
So how do you
so
think?
this,
How do you think?
in this arc we got two regens for the price of one? I
We
thought
did.
that was good.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was actually quite clever. It had been 5 years since Troughton had changed to Pertwee. It was a very clever way of reminding people that this happens.
And it's coming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Bit disappointed with the regeneration effect. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Bit plain.
they hadn't had the cool regeneration effects yet.
Yeah.
That would come with the next regeneration, where indeed they reuse the idea of Choji.
Yes.
We at least get some glow and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
So, did you enjoy it? And did you enjoy this whole little section with Mike Yates, with the Daisiest Daisy, and all that coming together to Planet of Spiders?
Yeah, I think so. I think the doctor's tired in this one.
He's been tired
Yes.
all season.
But he's particularly
I really
tired
love
here.
the hovercraft versus boat chase too.
I
He's
was
ready to
wondering
let
when
it go.
someone was going to mention that.
Great, because I love sci-fi vehicles, and that was just epic. First, it's the gyrocopter versus the doctor's car, plane, hovercraft thing, and then it's the actual, just straight hovercraft versus boat, and the doctor goes over land, kind of cheater on it. It was epic. It was just
Runs
glorious.
over
I loved it.
Stuart Fell as a
Yep,
tramp.
yep. Runs over some poor bastard just trying to have a nap, and there you go. That's what you get for taking a siesta, pal.
The thing about that is, it was ridiculous. It didn't need to be done because at any time Lupton could have concentrated and they could have gone back to the monastery.
Uh-huh.
But no, it's John's last story. Everyone, let's look in the garage and see what we can dig out.
Let's see what we can dig out, right? Exactly.
What
right?
haven't we
And that
given
was
him
cool.
so far? Well, we haven't
Just
given him a
don't wanna grab to my own,
gyrocopter.
by
We haven't
God.
given him a speedboat.
It's one of
He's
my
never
dream
tried a
vehicles I haven't
hovercraft
keep yet.
before.
Mhm.
Well, don't worry. It's now set for Nightboat, the crime-solving
Yeah.
boat.
Mhm.
What I would love to have seen was a piss taker Pertwee, where basically his transport is a bicycle. That would just make me laugh so hard.
Get him.
Go stick.
Ding ding.
Yeah.
They could get
Ding, ding, ding,
instead
ding.
of
Bling, 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 bling.
escalating,
over.
they could go down.
De-escalate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Until
right,
he's on a
and
clown
without a
trike.
Clowns on rollers.
Yeah,
Until
little
he's
clown,
on a bike,
Krusty
and
the
then the
Clown
bike
thing.
gets a
Skateboard
flat
versus
tire, then
pogo
he's
stick.
walking.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then one of those big wheel bicycles versus unicycle or something, pogo stick and all that. Yeah, I'm with you totally.
No.
That'd be great.
There's something.
Yeah.
There's something to be done here.
I'm
Yeah,
with you. That'd be awesome.
It clearly it existed to make him happy because there is no reason
No.
to do it, and it really does eat up a lot of time in that episode. But
It
that's
does.
all right because the spider isn't all the spider that's controlling him thinks it's very bright, but it's basically the mouse from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Huh.
Yeah. Not near as smart as they think they are, right?
Yeah, and
What
wanting
did you think of the
glory for
villain?
itself.
Lupton.
The villain,
Clever Lupton.
Clever
Yeah.
Lupton. Clever
He's-
Lupton. He got what he deserved.
He's thwarted.
What do you think of the acting of Lupton?
As the psycho repressed sort of finally busting out of his skin, barely restrained
Ex-salesman.
homicidal madman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the guy
Uh-huh.
who provided the voice of Boss in The Green Death.
Oh,
So
cool.
there's another
Yeah.
little link.
No, he did a
So-
good job as Clever Lupton. No doubt on the actor's part. He did a very good job portraying his role. The character of Lupton,
He's got
I thought should
motivation.
have been. Yeah, he's got a lot of motivation. Don't get me wrong, but I thought he would have been a little smarter, especially like, for example, sitting in essentially the council room of all the spiders, and there's the queen spider, and he's lipping off and being arrogant. He's been warned multiple times, consider your motivations, they'll kill you, and so forth. And even though he managed to, gank that one spider one time with a mental attack, like, he keeps getting put in his place and not learning his lesson.
Oh, that's a good villain.
And I guess that is an important,
A
I
good
guess,
child villain, anyway.
well, he's a spoiled child, and he
Yeah.
doesn't learn his lesson, and eventually he has to be yanked ultimately hard.
Also, I
So,
think he's a little bit wasted. Like he's because he's interesting.
Once
right?
you get
And
to
he's
Metabelus, he is.
dangerous.
He's completely wasted.
Why is
Yeah.
he even there?
yeah,
Other than to lie and say, "Oh, well, actually, I knew where it was the whole time."
Right. Like, what is the purpose of this character here exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Um,
agree with that. Yeah.
Because if they sent him back to Earth, he'd have killed everybody back there, probably.
This is what happens when you upset insurance salesmen. That's all I'm saying.
That would have been it. He'd have definitely killed everybody in the house but Rinpoche, probably.
Right.
Like,
Are you there?
all
What?
dead.
You've been very quiet. Did you not have much to
I
say
didn't
about
watch
it?
the damn show.
Of course. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're right.
You've been very quiet about this segment. I didn't watch the show to review it.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
watched like maybe a half hour of it.
We're going to have the same problem with Big Finish, I suspect. We'll have to wait.
But I
and
do
see.
have one thing to say.
Please.
I would like to thank our newest sponsor, Pringles.
We've got
Oh,
a new
yeah.
sponsor, have we?
Now, what
Well, one of
flavor is
them.
this?
This is barbecue.
Barbecue.
Barbecue. Mm-hmm.
Barbecue.
You know, we never managed, doesn't matter how many shout outs we get, we never managed to get sponsorship. I mean,
Well, I did the
Rage
product placement
turned
with
us
Wendy's
down.
Frosty, but I don't know. I'm not sure that was enough to get them to notice
We
us.
were
so.
turned down by NordVPN.
I know.
Okay.
I
Yes,
know,
we were.
It's terrible. It's just, no one
We
loves
were turned
us.
down by Raid Shadow Legends. All right.
Oh, did I tell you this last week? Somebody came on to one of the podcast Facebook groups, not our podcast, just podcasting in general, and was talking about moving over to YouTube. Has anybody had any experience? Yeah? Got experience? How long have you been podcasting? About 16 years? Wow, you must have some stories. Well, yes, but the best thing I can say to you about moving over to YouTube is don't. We went from several thousand listeners down to 2. So it's just not worth doing. It's but at the same time, I don't really care anymore about listeners. I used to, but I mean, I care about my listeners. You know, I like the people. It's just I don't care about the numbers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, numbers are like
That's
so
stopped
what?
being important to me. Which is, I think, a good thing. A bit of character development there, if I'm honest.
More important to have fun.
Yeah, that's why I love these Sunday evenings. Just sit here and talk bollocks.
If
for
you're
2
not
hours.
having fun, you're doing it wrong. Pure and simple.
Yep.
At least in my way of thinking.
Great show. A great musical called "I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change."
Ha!
Um,
I love the title.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, though, it's not. Is it from that? No, it's not from that. It's from title of show. And there's a song called Nine People's Favorite Thing. And Dave and I used to kind of take it as our motto, but it's I would rather be 9 people's favorite thing than 100 people's 9th favorite thing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Totally. I get you. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, that
Depends on the
makes,
monetization.
Oh, fair enough.
You're still being
With no
American, aren't you?
monetization, I would still rather be 9 people's favorite rather than 900 people's 9th favorite. Yeah.
Hey! Are you guys ready for January the 6th part 2? He's calling
Tuesday.
for it.
Yeah.
He's calling for it.
Tuesday's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Colbert's gonna fucking freak if he
Has
does.
former President Fluckwit said anything else lately, or
No, just that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that?
other than
Just-
Just that.
usual
It's
stupid.
a
Okay.
political stitch up, but everybody should get out and protest.
oh, okay.
Yeah, he just
Sure.
wants
And-
crowds in the streets. He wants blood in the streets, is what he wants.
The Republicans basically said, "Oh, it's politically motivated. All this is politically motivated, and people are entitled
It
to
is.
protest." Yeah, look
By
what happened
him.
last time.
It is, but it's unfortunately politically motivated by them, not the Democrats, unfortunately. So,
Just have no time for all
What
of
a
this
nightmare.
nonsense.
Well,
If
I'm
they've
going to be
got
honest with
time
you,
for
my love. This is a
sort of
public
thing-
forum, and you work for the state, so it might be an idea.
Well, yes. I also think if they have this kind of time on their hands, I have useful things they could be doing.
You see, that's a teacher's
Yep.
reply. That's a teacher's reply. That's what they need to do. Get teachers
Yes.
in.
There
get
are
working.
there are streets that need repairing.
Yes.
There are people that need feeding.
Yeah.
There are bridges
Yeah.
that could use work.
Mhm.
There's floors to be swept.
down.
There's grass to be mowed. It rained the other day. Our grass grew
There's
a
the
foot.
climate that
They
needs
could
to
go
be
make
fixed.
themselves exactly. They could make themselves
There are a lot of
useful. If
problems.
they've got this much energy and this much time, they could make themselves useful.
DeSantis to garden. You know?
Yeah, I have some major issues with him. But
Yes, so do I. I see they're
God.
blaming the
Yeah.
failure of the Silicon Valley Bank on wokeness.
mm,
You're right.
Fuck,
that's
that's
the
all
bank
they've
that
been
Donald
laying
Trump's
into.
buddies
Fox has
invested
been
in, right?
going into it.
Yeah.
It apparently
Uh-huh.
it lost out because it was woke.
Yeah.
That's
that's
your
not
Fox
how
News
that works.
nonsense. Yeah,
They
I
lent
know
too many
that.
lesbians
Fox
money,
News
apparently,
doesn't.
is what
Actually,
it was,
Fox
right?
News
Yeah.
does know, but we'll still say the exact opposite. We got proof of that.
Well,
Too
yeah,
funny.
they're very
Yeah.
very foolish. Bless their little hearts. Again,
And that was
you've
because
got
that was
time
one of
to
those
lean
ones that
and
One at a
you've
time.
got time to.
It's a little bit.
Very good, yeah.
Oh, I was just being rude about them and saying if they have time to lean, they have time to clean.
Absolutely. And the funny thing is that that's one of those banks that Trump and his cronies pumped so hard, full of money invested in, advertised, and all this.
Well, the thing is, he
And
ripped up
then
a
it's falling
fucking
apart.
regulation that would have stopped this from happening.
Again, and that's the paradox or hypocrisy of banks in America is they all want to be bailed out by the Fed when they screw up, but none of them want federal oversight or regulation.
But I mean,
can't have it both
that's the
ways.
same everywhere. To be fair. You
Yeah.
know.
So what? If you
Well,
want to
it
take
doesn't
our
mean
money
it's right.
as
but
taxpayers and as customers, then we should have some protection.
I agree.
You don't get to take my money and then dip into my taxes that the state has saved and piss them away after you've pissed my paycheck away. That's not how it works, right? So there has to be more oversight. I think, honestly, we need a lot more bank oversight. A lot more on all of the banks.
The thing is,
because
a
this is they're
standard
out of
thing
control.
with the Republican Party is to cut regulations.
Oh,
for
absolutely,
free
yeah.
trade.
They're totally all about giving their friends with
They,
wealth
I mean,
and
they've
power
always been
as
like
much
this,
rope
not just
as they
since
can
they've been
run with.
nutters.
You want
Exactly.
fun? Okay, I have been a member of my credit union bank
Mm-hmm.
since the year 2000.
Mhm.
I have asked to apply for a credit card 3 times during that period.
Mhm.
Every single time I have been turned down.
Right.
Really?
Really?
Every fucking time.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Normally, I mean, they keep spamming us with letters saying you've been pre-approved.
So
Mm.
my,
yeah, but
my whole
credit
thing
unions
is,
are their own thing.
yeah, my whole
I'm in a
thing
credit
right now is hold on to my money. I'm not going to go to you for a goddamn thing. I've
Right.
gone outside of them
When
for
are you able to claim your
financing
money
my
back?
car, anything else.
When are you able to
Mhm.
get your money out?
I can get it out today if I want.
You
to.
can. That's something. That's
Yeah,
good.
Mhm.
yeah, I can go and get it at any point in
All
time.
right. Okay.
Just I am
yeah.
not going. I've refused to use their services now.
Yeah. I use
Other
the Federal
than
Credit
hold on
Union,
to
and
my
I'm the
money,
same way.
keep it in there. Let me do my online banking. Let me do my card. That's it.
I had a big
I'm
argument.
gonna
Mhm.
close
Love
the
it.
door because there's a dog barking outside. Hang on.
That's cool.
I was
Yeah, I keep waiting. I hear
What's it?
ETS.
I,
So
uh,
he'll be
fuck
banging on
them.
again in a minute.
Yeah, no,
Fuck any
I'm
bank
completely
that
with you. I had a
refuses
big
you like
argument
that.
with
Yeah.
my former bank because they had really stupid rules about withdrawing cash from the counter. You couldn't withdraw a certain amount of cash from the cash machine. From the counter. You had to get it from the cash machine. I said, I don't have enough to be able to do that. I need to get it out from here. She said, well, get it out from the cash machine, then queue up again, come back to the counter, and pay it into your account again. They had to call the police.
Yeah.
And they shut my account because I was so fucking angry.
There you go.
And so the irony here is the only bank who would take me, because I tried quite a few high street banks, is the one with the worst morality record, which is Barclays. It was the only bank
That's
I could
not
get.
ironic. That's actually apropos because worst morality record is the one who takes everybody because they don't care. It's volume. They don't want They don't want quality. They want volume
But to be
because
fair, I've not had any
more
trouble with them, so
customers and transactions and things, the easier to hide their misdeeds.
I have to admit they've got rid of the counters now. It's all just ATMs in the bank. They've still got people
Right.
you can go and speak to about things, but you don't get to see
Honking,
the
there's nothing but
chirpy,
ATMs.
good morning, sir.
See, I have had, and I'm sorry you've had such a bad experience with your credit union. Like, my dad, my dad got me an account when I was 10. I'm going to give away my own age. So this was 1990, and I've had an account with
Child.
them since then. And
No, you gotta do it like this.
well, it's the little, you
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
a little
yeah,
chubby
yeah,
in your
yeah.
cheeks and the wrinkles don't show.
Brian can't help
Um,
reusing this finger all the time, as often as possible.
I don't know. It's just a reflex.
All right, yeah.
And so I've had this account with them continuously for 30 some odd years now. And I've had credit cards with them. I've had car loans with them. And then I was 2 years into a car loan with them, into a 6-year loan. And because the car had 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty. So I thought, well, I'll finance for 6 years. The payments will be lower. I'll be underwater briefly in it. But very quickly I'll catch up and it'll be fine. So I was underwater at the time on the value of the car versus how much I owed still. And someone hit us while we were stopped at a stoplight and pushed us into the car in front and totaled the car. And
That's pretty
thank
impressive. Back to rear end you and total the car.
Yeah, well,
Oh, no.
it's because
It
he was a
happens,
Ford
yeah.
truck with a full back full of stuff.
Okay, yeah,
And
no,
my
that
car
explains it.
was basically a recycled
It
soda bottle.
exported freedom.
Yeah. And I bought my aunt a Kia, and she got rear-ended by like a 5-ton type thing, and it totally
totaled
destroyed the
the car.
vehicle. Yeah.
But the car takes all the impact.
Yeah,
And
they are
so-
quite good nowadays, aren't they?
Dave had
She
some
did
back
escape
injury, and I had some
pretty unharmed,
soreness, but neither of us were majorly injured because the car absorbed it.
Oh,
Good
that's
car.
something.
But I had to call up my credit union and say, hi, you know that loan that I currently have? I need another one because I need a car because we only had one car because we only had one driver.
Yeah.
I need another one, and I have no money to put down, so I have to completely finance everything.
But
Because
and how
that
long was
car's-
the insurance going to take to go through?
Yeah, did
well,
your
the
insurance pay it off,
kind
or-
of took. Well, his insurance paid it.
Right.
But it would only
And
be
I paid.
book value or the write-off value? I mean,
The write-off value, I think, but eventually, because I was underwater in the car. Thank heavens I had Gap insurance. That's what that's for.
Yeah, Gap insurance is the shit.
And I kept paying on my loan because, and
I'm all about
eventually
it,
the
right?
lady was like, you didn't have to keep doing that. I was like, I wasn't going to not pay my loan.
Right, and because every time you miss
Tell
one,
them to
they get your
repo the
credit
car. Come
rating
get
up.
it.
Yep.
I called them up like the day it happened, or and to say
but you've done the
the
right
day
thing.
after. And and they were actually amazing about it. And so they pre-approved me for a certain amount, and then when I went to actually buy the car, of course, it's a little bit more because I'm not just financed, because the thing was like good up till the value of the
Right.
car, the blue book value of the brand new car, but not above that. But of course I was financing tax, tag, and title because I had no money.
So you're going way beyond that, yeah.
And
And especially on a longer loan.
called the credit union up and was like, is this okay? And they were like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Brian, get the details of that credit union afterwards.
Yeah. See, mine is the snooty kind of condescending asshole credit union.
Oh, that's what most banks are.
They have a lot of branches. Don't get me wrong.
I'm sure.
One branch was actually very close to where I worked one time. I had one close to home and one close to work. I went into the one close from work to cash my check because I needed some money for lunch and stuff. And they said, we're going to have to hold this for 3 days because we don't know you.
I love
I've been there.
shit like that.
I have had an account here for 16 fucking years. It's a paycheck. Cash the goddamn. Put it in my account now.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta love that. We don't
I
know you.
don't-
What?
I don't
Brian,
have a
did they?
local branch. So
Did
I have
they?
to either do business
did.
online or go into a
What?
cooperating credit union.
No, I was asking.
they didn't.
They didn't.
Oh, no, they didn't. No.
That's one good thing about growing up where I grew
Fuck
up,
them.
because it's a very small and very insular community, like a little fishing village, 500 people. The town just north of us had a couple of thousand people, and that's where like the 2 and then eventually 3 banks were. My next door neighbor worked in one. The people that I went to, then we're friends with and all. We're employed in all of them. We all went to school together. We all grew up together and all that. So, you knew everybody. So that kind of trash didn't happen that much, but you still saw a lot of stupid shit with like home loans. And when those balloon payment things started getting popular, right? Like stuff like that,
Which just shouldn't be allowed.
Right,
which was ridiculous.
bit more politics. You were warned last
Well,
week.
more silliness. Yeah.
I think Aerosmith had it right.
Well, loving an elevator.
Love in an elevator. Yeah.
Eat the rich.
I agree. Yeah. Eat the rich. Yeah. I think that was actually Swift who said that first, wasn't it?
I'm
No,
not sure.
he was all about eating the poor.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
It
right.
would
You're right,
decrease
you're
the
right, you're
surplus population.
right. Fat and Irish babies
Yeah.
for English tables. My
That's
mistake. You're
right. That's right.
Yep.
Well,
my
Jonathan
mistake, yeah.
Swift.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
You didn't hear it?
It was satire. It's
Oh, it was
satire.
satire. Oh,
Yeah.
thank God for that.
He said he could solve the Irish problem
Ugh.
by fattening Irish babies for English tables. And it caused quite a stir.
Really, you surprise me. Oh, dear. Oh, by the way,
it was his
Gary
modest
Lineker won.
proposal.
His modest proposal.
Gary Lineker won. You'd be pleased to know he beat the BBC.
Huh? Oh, good.
Oh,
We were
yes.
talking about last week.
No, we were hearing about that over here on the news. It was great.
Really?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
terrific.
Wow.
Funny as hell.
Yes, frankly. BBC's
Too
fucked.
funny.
Shot itself in the foot. Big
Oh yeah.
time.
Yeah, he shot himself in the foot. But that's what networks do, corporate entities, because you have dipshits in boardrooms who are making corporate decisions who don't know what they're doing. They don't know what
Well, the
public
thing is,
perspective
technically... Oh, that's a nice shot. Technically, the BBC isn't corporate. I know it says corporation, but it's a public service. It's a public broadcaster.
That's what happens
It's-
when you have people in charge of things playing politics with
Yeah.
keep it all out. Let the politicians be assholes and politicians. They're gonna be anyway.
Excuse me.
Keep it out
These people
of
make
everything
decisions.
else. Leave the rights alone. Leave everything else alone. Just do it, and she's gone.
Yeah, I don't think these guys know how to make a decision anyway, because they never ask, what are the possible outcomes of this decision? If they would just
What's
ask
the
themselves
bad thing that
before
could
they did
happen
something.
now?
Yeah, right? Like,
Sorry,
Here's
Brian,
a
I did
perfect
say to carry
example,
on
a
talking.
certain orange individual who says,
little game
I'm going to
theory,
run
and
for president. However, surrounded by yes men, not a single one of them has
a brain
a
cell.
spine in their family tree to tell him, no, boss, this could be a bad idea and backfire
Right.
on you horribly. Oh, hey, who's up for indictment on Tuesday?
They're going to have to come up with a chance to hang somebody else. Pence won't be there.
yeah, well,
Hang Cleaner
is saying
Mabel.
nope.
Hang Cleaner Mabel.
Pence is
No,
saying
they
that
wanted,
nobody wants to see this. Bullshit.
they were trying to hang Nancy Pelosi, and then they changed it from hang
There are
Nancy
people
Pelosi to hang
applying
Mike
to
Pence.
throw the switch at the electric chair for this guy, okay?
Yeah, right. Totally.
I can't back that, I'm afraid. I can't. I hate the man.
I can.
Let
You
the
don't
rest
have
of
to
it,
watch
let,
it.
let the rest of his days be humiliating, but don't take them away from him.
I think
What
it'll be
snack do you
just
have there,
enough
little
that
bit?
once he dies,
I
the-
have a
the
brownie that I made
autopsy will
cardamom
show-
icing.
She's done it again.
I baked
Blah,
it.
blah,
Good
blah,
girl.
blah.
Ouch.
I'm
I
not
have,
sure what
I
that
have
noise was.
Lindor too, but they're from Christmas. So
I
That'll
however,
be all right.
regretfully,
I have a-
I am
I have a
out of
theory
beef
about
jerky,
this.
so if anybody wants to send me any beef jerky or biltong or something,
Hang on a moment. You've
have a
already
theory
gone
about
for
this. When
sponsorship
Trump
from Pringles.
would you
When
like
Trump
me to bring
dies-
in the mythic meat again?
I'd
The
rather
old man.
the
Don't
Pringles, to
start.
be honest.
I love those.
I'll bring over the.
reindeer jerky's
Hang on,
the
let me go
best.
get some mythic meat.
He's going to get some mythic meat. I didn't like them, but
I'm
that's
saying,
me.
listen, when Trump dies, the autopsy is going to show that he's been suffering for like 30 or 40 years from a long-term, extremely advanced, undiagnosed case of syphilis. That's my. I know
Yeah,
it.
but we'd never hear
That's
that.
what's going on with that guy.
We'd never find that
His
out.
brain stem is gone. There's nothing up there. It's just a frontal lobe and an amygdala going batshit. You know,
We'd never
a
learn
little
that,
piece
though,
of lizard brain on the
Spanks.
bottom screaming, "Feed me cheeseburgers, make me president," and that's it.
Brian did a very good Trump
Good
that time.
Um,
Just saying,
Cheeto
he's very,
Jesus.
very good on as Trump.
Long-term, undiagnosed case of extremely advanced syphilis.
Explain them to the young lady.
Oh
please.
yeah, those are so good.
you're on mute.
Yeah, I know, it's good. You have to tell
This
him.
is
Mythic
mythic
meat
meat.
is so good.
You might see them somewhere on Facebook or something, and they have
A little
different
expensive,
flavors.
but worth it.
Uh-huh.
It's all normal meat, but they rename it stuff like basilisk, chimera, chupacabra, dragon, griffin. You ever wanted to know what the kraken tasted like? How about the Loch Ness monster?
There you go.
A Pegasus?
Bessie, right?
Maybe a phoenix? Unicorn, perhaps?
Why would you want to eat? They're selling unicorn cakes over in Iceland. Scott, what have you done to the unicorns, you bastards?
There's an overpopulation, and we have to cull the herd to prevent
But
starvation.
how the hell have they got enough
Right.
virgins to be able to go and round them up?
Have you seen a gaming convention ever?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Just saying.
A
Sorry.
little bit's going to see
Should've
it
thought that
coming
through.
up the next
We got a
con.
bunch of cosplayers out there, and bam,
Get
they
a bunch of
mobbed.
guys out there. Oh, yeah.
Talking of
And,
conventions
oh,
and
by
whatever.
the way, I've just opened up.
Oh, nice. Oh, I do like the special dark.
Yes, there's a convention coming up in Crawley. I think it's on the 16th. Give me 2 seconds. I have a calendar here.
And suddenly the Crawley population of unicorns explodes.
March,
Explodes.
April.
Boom.
Yeah, 15th and 16th of April is
Hi,
the
doggy.
Doctor Appreciation Society 2-day convention in the capital.
You can't have
Lots and
this.
lots and lots and lots of guests. They're normally run really well.
Dougie
I'll
sits
probably
crinkling
pop
up plastic
down there on
beers.
at least one of the days just to stick my
Don't forget.
nose around, sit down with a cup of hot chocolate and say hello to people. That's all I do at conventions nowadays.
Sip
You
hot
hold
chocolate
court.
and talk to people.
Yeah. That's all conventions ever really been for me, a social
I'll allow
occasion
it.
rather than panels and autographs. I've never really collected
When's this
autographs.
Gallifrey 1 thing happening?
Well, I told you, depending on what... depending on what happens, what I can and what I can't do with my money, It'll either be 2025 or it won't be. I say, it's money does not buy you happiness.
I don't know. I'd like to give it a shot. Maybe rent it a little bit.
It's like
Take it out for a lease.
cafe owner. I had to sort of say, "Can I have a tab, please?" And he went, "What about all that money you've got?" And I said, "I'm not going to get it for at least another year." And his mouth just went. It's a case of, and even then, like I say, once I get it, it's going to be a lot of hassle. A lot of hassle. And I don't know what to do, but I don't want to go and investigate it now because I would rather wait until I've got a little bit more of a clear idea of amount. That might be useful. It's
And none of that stuff moves quickly.
No, well, probate takes a year and a day, where the house just sits there, not doing anything, nobody living in it. Every now and again, Nina pops back to check it to make sure it's okay. And aside from that, we can't take anything from the house.
One day,
what
you
is
see
it?
that picture behind me on the wall? We're going to
This
talk
one's
about
a
that picture one day.
chupacabra.
No, we can't take anything from the house.
Chupacabra.
And we can't do anything with the
Chupacabra.
house. However, we've still got to pay the rates. We've still got to pay the house insurance. Even for this is for something we cannot touch. So, and then
It
once
feels
probate
like
is up,
that's
then it
not
can
a
go on the
wise-
market. Sorry.
It just feels like that's actually not a good way to protect an investment while you're dealing with a thing.
I think the whole system is cruel because it makes you makes you wait a year and a day before you can start trying to put everything to bed and to go
Yeah.
forward. You've got to wait a whole year you can't touch the money on the estate. So all the bills you're having to fork out for yourself, and people are normally going to be worse off if they've lost a partner or if they've,
Right.
lost. But no,
Yeah.
for a year and a day, and I swear blind, basically the lawyers got it wrapped up, so that they get to make lots of money. I just think it's a
All the
particularly
money's
cruel
in
thing.
escrow.
I just think it's cruel. I really do. I think it stops people being able to get closure. It's not a nice way of doing things. I understand it
I now have
logically.
the happiest puppy in the world.
Ace. Anyway, that was cheerful. Big Finish. Right, a little
Well,
bit.
that
How
was
many of those
cheerful.
did you actually manage to listen to?
I actually finished the last one today.
Lilibet is now going to host our Big Finish review section.
Yeah, I love it.
I've heard the first
love
one
it,
and
yeah.
half of the second one. Spanks, did
Yes.
you manage to listen to anything?
No, unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Okay, Lilibet,
I
it's all
completely
yours.
dropped the ball this week.
Oh, good.
Don't mention it. Come
Last week I was
on,
on
you're
with
used
notes
to
and everything.
this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be over here feeding my dog.
Yeah, all right.
That's okay. Do
You
that.
see, Lilibet's got the experience to do this. Don't let me down.
What happened was, so this is a box set. It's called The Return of Joe Jones, and it is The Return of Joe with the Third Doctor. The first one's on Earth. The second one's on an alien planet, sort of a futuristic kind of Earth. It's not Earth, but it's a very futuristic urban setting.
You have a danger
And then
rating, don't you?
The third one is a futuristic alien planet that feels a bit like the docks on Liverpool.
Oh, oh.
Okay, that's interesting.
Which is originally, at least according to the back stuff, where she originally, the writer originally said it, because that's where her dad used to work.
I'm very fond of the sound of foghorns.
Excuse me one moment.
We have a mystery.
Oh.
Carry on, please.
The first one is Supernature, which is exactly the sort of thing you would expect Joe to be involved in.
Oh yeah, when we say Joe Jones, we mean modern day Joe has met up
Yes.
with the Third Doctor again, and it's
Yes,
set
modern day
between the Green Death and the Time Warrior. He hasn't met Sarah yet.
Right. And he's been traveling
Yeah.
on his own, and we know that never goes well.
No.
No, not
And
for the
he's
doctor. No, no, no.
Back on modern Earth to investigate, and he's sort of doing his own thing. He's not really
Yeah.
connected with the unit.
He's picked up something, and yeah.
Somewhere, and the TARDIS has dropped him here, and the birds are going bananas.
Grumpy would
It's
be
basically
so
Alfred
happy.
Hitchcock.
Yes.
Birds have gone mad, and they're hurting people. And Joe has come home, and we don't quite know why early on, but clearly something has happened. And she's come home to her friend, and her friend has asked for her help with this. And so they have to figure. She's so excited to see the
Gotta
doctor,
get something to that door.
and she's so pleased that it's her doctor.
Because she, in Joe's timeline, she's already met the 11th Doctor.
Yes.
Mm.
And she has a line where she says something like, "It's you, it's you."
5 Doctors line.
It was but it's such a nice line.
It's
and
also a Joe thing to say.
it is.
Mhm.
But it's got to be a little bit heartbreaking for Katie Manning because, of course, another actor is playing the third Doctor,
Is
so it's
playing,
not
yeah.
her Doctor.
I think it's. I mean, I can't speak, but I'm guessing that so much time has passed now that, and she's worked with Tim so long
Yeah.
that will have maybe not gone away, but certainly faded into a comfortable thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was
probably
comfortable,
is.
but there had to be a twist of some kind of melancholy or nostalgia at the very least, because
Oh no, I'm sure.
they created such a thing together. I mean, they made such a mark on science fiction, not just television, but the genre in general.
Sorry, I
that
was
it's
taking a
lasted
step
this
back
long.
and
I mean,
looking at it with perspective. You see, and anyway, it doesn't matter.
Um,
I'll stop trying to be
but-
clever.
it's okay.
Appreciated.
That's all right, love. It's
Yeah.
cool.
And of course it's a lady from the Ministry who's up to no good, basically. For reasons.
That's really distracting you, isn't it?
Reasons. Mm.
Me having my finger up at Brian, that just threw you.
It did. I saw it in my eye.
Yes. Embrace your hatred. Let it flow through you.
Go on, Lilibet, go on.
But this gets the Doctor and Joe back together, and the adventure is good, but it kind of is only beside the point. The point of the story is getting the two of them back together.
And also
And-
giving Joe that much more agency than she would have
Yes.
got on the TV show.
And she has had so many more experiences.
Well, yeah,
which we
exactly.
see throughout this.
This is Granny Joe, this is. Great
And
Granny
the
Joe,
doctor's
actually.
like, "Oh no, Joe, you can't."
Joe.
She's like, "What? You think I haven't done this before?
Yeah.
I had a life after you." And we find out in a beautiful, heartbreaking speech right at the end that the reason she's come home is because her husband's died.
Yeah.
And she's mourning him, and she's willing to go off with the doctor on
She
one more
can
big
again,
adventure.
can't she? You know?
Yeah.
The replacement's gone, so I'll go for the original.
Well, there is an element of that.
Yeah, there is.
There is an element of that. But also, the doctor needs her, and she needs the doctor.
Well, for the Doctor, he's only just left her. Or she's only just left him. You know, it's...
For the doctor,
It's-
yeah.
it's a
The
very
TARDIS
raw
doesn't
wound
take
for
you
the
where
Doctor.
you want to go. It takes you where you need to go.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true. And you
the
do get
dirt
an
gently
element.
of TARDISes, right?
Yes. You do get an element of before she can move forward, she has to kind of revisit her past a little bit
Mm-hmm.
before she moves into whatever's going to be the next stage. That this is an interlude for her. And of, this whole setup hit me real hard.
Can I ask
Because
at
that's
the
kind
end...
of where I am.
Can I ask at the
It's
end...
always the
does-
starting
is
new
she-
chapter in your life, right? You've got to close the old chapter.
is.
Yeah, and
So,
you
yeah.
kind of need an interlude in between before you're ready to.
Can I
start
ask?
something new.
Does she end up back on Earth at the end of the set?
No.
Oh, okay. Right.
So I suspect she's going to continue.
I
traveling
think,
for a
from a
while.
practical point of view, it's actually quite a wise decision. Katie, you know, I mean, bless her, as much as she tries, she
Not
can't
just
sound like
fuel
she
for
did when
future
she was
episodes,
20,
But
you know? So now she doesn't have to worry.
Yeah,
And she's
she-
still got Joe's
Now-
character off pat. I mean, Jesus.
Oh yeah.
a second. In this, is Joe supposed to still be young, or is she
No,
older,
this
or
is
what?
old Joe.
This is
Old Joe.
Joe
That's
who
what I
has
thought.
Yeah.
children and grandchildren and great grandchildren.
Right.
She's
Oh,
spoiled.
And-
okay. So
She's got experience with eco-terrorism,
Mhm.
and
she's lived her life. and
she's
she
lived
has
her
a lot
life,
more to
and-
offer now, too.
uh,
Right.
in the second one, she diffuses a bomb.
There you go.
Because
Cool.
the setup is with what's going on with the doctor can't physically can't is being prevented, and Joe's like, I got this. First you take the casing off, and then you do this, and then you do that.
Joe!
Well,
Total
that's the thing.
surprise.
Joe was never really incompetent. She was maybe flighty, but she wasn't
Well, by her
incompetent or maybe
second
helpless.
series 9, which is just out on Blu-ray, they've already improved her from the previous year. She's not as flappy as she was. You know, things
Yeah,
that
so,
she
I
gets
mean,
up to in the Sea Devils, for example.
She wasn't like the hopeless character or whatever.
No.
You know,
She was
she
inexperienced.
was capable. So it's good to see that she grew even more and is, more capable and so forth. That sounds pretty cool. I'm looking forward to listening to it even
then
more now.
The conservators, in that one, it's set on this alien planet where it's been taken over. Well, the city anyway has been taken over by basically a numbers guy.
Yep.
Has led a
Yep.
coup
Yep.
and has decided that the best use of resources is to keep everyone safe by preventing them from doing anything with any risk.
Yeah.
And so,
You get lumbered with a risk rating, don't you?
yes.
Yeah.
And they get drawn into the adventure when they see a guy pulled over by a robot.
Yeah.
And taken out of his car, and his car's taken away because he's exceeded his risk factor by 0.2.
I still say they
and-
shouldn't have got themselves involved in that. It was a simple stop. You know, that's just arrogance on their part, I think. I get the feeling, because it's led by Joe, and I get the
Yeah.
feeling it's a case of, I'm on a new planet, this is what we do. And she was sort of wrong, because that was just a basic traffic stop.
Yeah, but it's based in injustice. Like, the guy didn't actually do anything wrong because your risk factor is also associated with who you associate
I
with and
appreciate
what
that,
they're
but
doing.
they
Yeah.
didn't have that information there.
No,
They just
that's
saw a
true.
traffic stop, and Joe immediately went, "Oh, can't have this." And it's a case of, right, you haven't done this for a while, have you?
What I liked in this one is that the doctor's nature, especially this particular doctor, has always been to take care of Joe.
Yeah.
And the doctor's very worried that Joe has come with him, but Joe has a family. And that, maybe the young Joe, when she was working for UNIT or whatever, didn't have so much at risk. It was really just her.
Yeah.
But now there's all these people who, he's worried they depend on her, and he's taking her into risky situations. And he can't protect her. And she has a speech saying to the doctor, like, this is okay, I know what I'm doing. And they don't depend on me because I've made them independent. And it
That's
will be
cool.
okay. But I never didn't do something that was important just because it was risky. And the father-child relationship, because you have a non-binary child character in here. Child. Teenager. That sort of
How old?
early 20s. I don't know. Or old enough to be living at home, but kind of doing stuff independently.
Yeah, the trouble is nowadays they could be in your 50s and still living at home.
But there's definitely a father-child relationship.
Yeah, I got it, yeah.
Yeah, that was all about risk. The father-aunt, because the aunt is the leader of the, what would you call it? The rebellion, I guess, the underground, who had previously been part of the government, and turned because her sister died, but her sister died not because of anything that had going on. Her sister died in a hospital from some kind of medical issue. So it wasn't, it just kind of coincided. But it was a story about risk and understanding responsibility, but also understanding that people see different things from different perspectives and willingly put themselves at risk, and that should be a choice.
Yes,
You shouldn't be protected from everything.
that's fair. What's the
and it
third one?
was-
What was the third one like?
The Iron Shore. That was the one I liked the least. It was really effective at what it did, and I didn't like what it did.
Do you want to leave it there?
Okay,
it
so
was
what did
actually-
it did?
What it did. It was a
did.
story about a curse. And this guy thinks he's cursed, and the reason he thinks he's cursed is because everyone he has ever cared about has died. And
You can say that for.
and this was a heavy box set. But
Yeah.
the Doctor and Joe show up, and the first thing that happens is a whole bunch of iron girders fall in the TARDIS, and this guy thinks they were meant for him.
So essentially, it's Final Destination.
Sort of. And there's this air of doom, and the thing opens with the Doctor dying.
Oh dear, not again.
And then everything's narrated through Joe's voice.
Sorry, John Culshaw is there. You can step in.
Was it a Tuesday? Because the Doctor only dies on Tuesdays.
You would think so, right? And it was just really, it was
Saturday
atmospheric
evenings.
and it was grim.
Mhm.
A lot of it was really grim. But not in a 10th planet sort of, the grimness is coming kind of way, but in a just really heavy atmospheric, haunted, it felt very haunted kind of thing.
Fascinating.
Okay.
So it if that's your jam,
Hmm.
I think you'll like it.
Okay. Did you, as a whole, because I'll say something afterwards, but as a whole, did you enjoy the box set?
I think I
Is that a
enjoyed the first
recommended one?
Yes, I would say yes, but I think you have to really like Joe. If you're sort of mediocre on Joe, then this is not going to do anything for you.
Before anybody thinks I'm an insensitive bitch, I had no idea what the box set was about when I said we were going to do it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right.
If I'd have known, I'd have given a little bit of the choice. But,
It's all right. I'm also very aware that, I mean, we all filter through our own life experiences,
Of
and
course,
whatever is your,
Yes, we do.
whatever's your ongoing life experience at the moment, that's kind of how you filter everything you're seeing. So just
Fair.
everything I'm seeing is filtering through that at the moment anyway.
Yep.
So, but I will say that the end of Supernature was hard to listen to, but it was actually really, really well done. And respectful to the character.
Basically, Stuart's died.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah. And I kind of knew that I figured,
Clifford.
yeah, I figured that's where it was going because I knew the actor had died. And that Joe wouldn't travel without him.
They'd already mentioned it in, the season 9 Blu-ray trailer. And given him a salute on that.
I don't know why.
And-
The way you're talking about it makes me think of like that Charlie movie or Flowers for Algernon or something. Like, is it something like that sort of where, you got this basically decent person who ends up croaked for no good reason?
No, they
For,
actually,
reasons,
they actually
but
have
bad.
him. Well, because the actor died, so they want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, that's what this is.
I got you, and bring it into the show.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And it also gives Jo a reason to travel with the third Doctor again.
Right.
Without taking
Which is
her
cool.
out of her timeline. And the death they give to the character is fitting for the character and kind to Jo. You know, if such a thing can be. She gets the moment she would have wanted to have.
Sounds like good writing.
Yeah, it was. I think the first one is very good.
I have to admit, I did enjoy that first one. Right, next week's Big Finish is going to be the second UFO box set. It's already there for you. Did you listen to the first one, Spanky? Did you get a chance to? Was that before?
I didn't get to listen to any of these, or do you mean to UFO?
UFO. The first box set of UFO.
I can't remember now. I think I did, but I couldn't tell you what it was about now.
You know what UFO
so.
the show is, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. Well, fair enough. They're
The
still in the
Alien
process.
Interdiction series,
They're still in the
basically.
process of setting up Shadow at the moment. So this is the second lot of things. So we'll be looking at that next week.
TV
next
series.
Sunday.
I mean,
I'm deciding. I've got to go and make a cup of hot chocolate in a moment. Not because you're talking about Space Above and Beyond, but because I need a cup of hot chocolate.
Yes, it is.
No,
it's a good break for you.
No. It's useful, but it's not deliberate. I'm trying to think what we can do because we've had an overdose of Pertwee. I'm trying to think what's a good what's a good antidote to too much Pertwee.
well, without going into New Who.
Yeah.
Tom
I
Baker's
try
a
not
pretty
to
good
touch
one, but
New Who on the show.
I know. I'm just saying.
Unless
so,
it's the latest reviews. The Abel Fubble Wubble 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 Wubble. Oh, we're gonna do it, aren't we? It's got to be done.
Wobble wobble, toil and trouble.
How does the brain of Morbius grab you?
One's fun.
That's
That's another Hinchcliffe one, Brian. You like Hinchcliffe?
You can watch the 1970 UFO series on Amazon.
This is I wouldn't say a reimagining of it, a retelling of it.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm just saying I didn't know that you could see the original series anywhere, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Isn't that the one with the purple wigs and the focus on her
That's
bottom
the
as she walks
one.
during the credits?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
the
thought,
silver bodysuits
I'll
and all
watch
that.
this.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Watched the first episode and thought, what a sexist load of shit, and turned it off. So
The
yeah,
opening
Better
credits
or
didn't
worse
give that
than
away?
that? Better or worse than that out of the unknown garbage?
which one?
Had some things going
Yes.
on, baby. All right, we're not going to start that.
Don't
Oh
worry,
my
we will
God,
not
yes, that
be
was funny,
going
but-
back to relook at that.
Ever.
Yeah, very probably ever. But so,
Yeah,
Brain
not
of
for-
Morbius
no.
for Television Doctor Who next week, and UFO for Big Finish now. Something.
Brain of Morbius for what? Wait. Oh, for Doctor Who. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Which is season 13, in case you needed to know. That should please Noonan. Now, Brian and Spanky are well. They've reached the end.
Has the moment been prepared?
And
Kill
so
them.
the time has come.
Yep.
The end is near.
Are you in pain?
And so we face
Yes, he is.
the final curtain.
I feel ill.
Go make some hot chocolate.
Certain vibrations just hit you just at the wrong bit.
It's the brown note.
Yeah, it's the finale to Space Above and Beyond. Adios, motherfuckers. Do you want to do your thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Was that series 2 of UFO or series 1? Series 1, right?
Probably.
We're gonna be listening to 2,
2. Okay, my bad.
the box set.
So,
Thank you,
Space
thank you.
Above and Beyond, the final episode. All right. Strap in, kids. Here we go. So after last episode's surprise of the Chigs offering a peace treaty, they're doing discussions for the peace treaty. At which point they bring in somebody from that evil mega corporation. I'm just going to call him Wayland Nutani.
Yeah, the aliens demanded he be there, though.
Yes,
The
they
head of the
wanted him
corporation,
there.
yeah.
He
They
had
wanted
to
him
be
there,
there.
right. Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know why he's there.
Oh, I
So
think
he's
he
there.
knows.
Everybody's sitting around, and we get everything laid out this time. Everything. So apparently, the whole war started because one of these corporation space probes landed on their sacred moon, where they believe that
Where they
Yeah.
spawn.
where they spawn. It's not quite. They didn't originate there. They just return there to spawn.
Okay, so they're
And-
salmon.
Yes, a lot like
Essentially.
salmon.
Yeah.
They go there to reproduce, and this probe violated everything, and so they destroyed it, and they didn't even
Caused a
know
lot of
humans
damage and
existed
stuff.
up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Well, they
caused the
maybe
whole.
did.
They did know that humans existed. I'm sorry, you are correct. It appears that they are not native to their planet and the spawning ground system. Shocker, they're from Earth.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
Because, yeah,
That's why they speak Navajo. Yeah.
that's why they speak Navajo. 100,000 years ago, they left the planet, and they've been searching for it ever since. They found it, thanks to that probe, because, it had Earth elements in it. They were able to trace it back. Hilarity ensues when the guy from the corporation
Hilarity and
provokes the
vulgarity.
alien into
Oh, yeah.
attacking him. He gets ganked hard. And then a bomb goes off
Shanked in the gut.
in the room.
Right.
Unfortunately,
Okay.
McQueen is in this.
Remember that.
Yeah, McQueen is in this meeting because the Commodore has a cold, and they were afraid it might infect and adversely affect the alien.
Right.
It's a good
So the commander of the
precaution,
Saratoga's
really.
out. McQueen's in. Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bomb goes off. McQueen survives. Barely.
But loses a leg.
Yeah. Dude is all sorts of screwed up.
Jacked up.
Everyone else dies, and they're trying to find out what went wrong. In the meanwhile, the Chigs attack again.
Mm-hmm.
But during
Attack
all
the ship
this,
that's coming over with the colony survivors. Right.
during all this, as a sign of good faith, they had released all the human prisoners, especially the survivors from the Tellus colony, which is the first colony that the Chigs attacked, which is one of the characters' primary reasons
relevant
for
to the
being
story
in
because-
this whole damn thing.
West's fiance is in the freaking ship. Right.
Yes. And then the Chigs attacked because, boom, everything went haywire and sideways. And so you have to go save the survivors, which, makes sense. They get fought off. They go in, they get everything saved, and then they realize, hey, 2 ships with guns are better than 1 ship with guns. So West and Wang pilot the other ship. And they're all just going back to the fleet when another wave of Chigs comes in. Spanky, do you want to take this?
Okay. What the crowning and most crushing disappointment is, of course, that West survives some freaking how. Why? I can only think that basically
Deliberately to annoy you. That's why.
writers and the directors
think
of this
so.
show, in some deliberate act of revenge against Fox, kept the most annoying character alive in order to, as a finger to them.
If you're going to do
Because
a
he's
spin-off,
completely-
it's going to be with this guy.
Exactly, right? He's completely undeserving. He's trash.
Hang
oh
on.
my god, and he has the
What
the
would the
face off
spin-off
against the fiance.
be called? West the what?
West.
Westlife.
West still not dead.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be.
So in the sheer insanity of battle, the good APC
Fair
with
description.
the survivors and everything attached to it now,
Mhm.
the front cockpit gets sheared off.
Dear.
It
Yeah.
has Vanson and Dampoose in it.
Uh-huh.
We're not sure about
Mine gets
Dampoose.
shot down.
She may not be alive, but Vanson is alive and in the cockpit and plummeting to their doom.
Yeah.
So the idea comes that, okay, so we'll just detach the bad cargo section of the APC, reattach to this one, and fly back. So Wang does the heroic, I'll cover you. Wang is left floating, literally, in cargo section of an APC with guns and everything blazing, while West and Hawks fly the APC back to the fleet.
Question.
Yes.
Apologies. It's a question about physics.
Uh-huh.
When you say he's left floating, do you mean there's 0G?
Yes.
In space, yes, but in the APC, no.
That's
because it
what I
was filmed
wanted to
on
know,
Earth.
because when you said he had guns
Yeah.
and everything, I was thinking, wouldn't the recoil push him back when he fired?
Well, they're
0G,
mounted.
This has never
Yeah.
been addressed
Okay.
in the series.
I do.
at all.
Yeah, that's
I don't
like-
think any bloody science fiction series.
Yeah. Anyway, he's blazing away.
Quite
He gets the
mastiff.
Chig as it's coming in on him. He blows it up, and it crashes into the APC, killing him.
Oh no, surely not.
Mm-hmm.
Wang,
Wang
KIA.
dead. Dampoose dead.
Dampoose,
So
unknown.
Sad.
Vanson.
Vanson
Vanson and
possibly still
Dampoose
alive.
probably dead. We're not sure, but they never resolve it.
Right.
So West and Hawks get back to the APC.
Queen Miss
you know,
Leg. Yeah.
tearful reunion with the girl who the entire reason he signed up.
Yeah.
And then she goes
He's
off
like
to
all
some
wooden
other
and
camp.
stuff. Yeah, he's like tries to give something back. She's like, "Hey, keep it or whatever," and it's like this weird,
It's
what
really
was the
strange.
whole point of this relationship
Really
because
strange.
they're not connected anymore. You can tell, and it's just kind of weird. And then he turns around and walks away, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that was not just anticlimactic, but thoroughly as disappointing as I expected it to be. Good job.
These
thing
are
is-
people who have grown so far apart by their experiences.
Yeah,
It's
just
not
they're-
gonna
People
work
could
out.
say that about this
Never,
show, though.
yeah. And his whole thing
Life on
was,
Mars,
I'm in the
Brian.
Marines, I'm gonna fight and kill these guys so I can get back with my girl. Because he was supposed to be on this colony ship and somehow he got booted off and it was a whole weird, very, very contrived plot point that
So
really
instead of
didn't play very
actually-
well.
Having any conversations or bothering to try and reestablish his connection with this girl,
Right.
they both
No.
decide that the best thing to do is not talk to each other and walk in different
No,
directions.
no, no. They
Yeah, they just
talk
look at each other
briefly.
funny, say a
They
couple
only
of
have
awkward
enough
words,
time
and then
for her to go into a recording
Sounds a bit
thing.
like
I've gotta go.
Julia.
I love you all,
Julia
blah, blah,
and
blah.
Winston Smith from
Yeah.
1984. You know, they could
Ugh.
have spoken and chatted in the old Chestnut Tree Cafe, but they just didn't want to. It was over. It was all
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, no, they have a brief conversation
See, I
until
can do
then
books.
she's whisked off to wherever civilians go in the fleet.
yeah.
probably back
so
to Earth.
that was just a
Battlestar
whole weird
He's still in
thing,
the
right?
Galactica.
Galactica, probably.
Yeah.
Who
it
won,
ends
by the way?
with
Who won the
Hawk
war?
and- no one.
Oh,
Well, the war doesn't
no!
end right there. That's the thing, and this is the part that's interesting. The only part that I really, really liked about this was when the Chicken Ambassador busts through the armored window, whatever, separating him from the other negotiators to kill the Wayland Yutani chief executive or whatever, the owner of the company there. He stabs him with a knife they didn't know he had. Okay, but then a bomb goes off. Two things you have to ask yourself. One, the executive there, the only civilian, was so deliberately toxic, so obviously deliberately provoking of this individual. it's clear he wants the war to continue. It's clear that despite he is obviously culpable for the war starting, it's all his fault. He's a dick and scum. He's just and gets gutted for it. Then a bomb goes off. Not the chick's bomb. You're led to believe because it blows up over by McQueen.
Mm-hmm. Who is sitting 2 seats down from the business
Across the
guy.
room, right?
Well, the
So
Queen
this
was
the
up for
whole
negotiations.
90s corporation shadow government equal bad.
Yeah, that's a very
As
90s thing,
Fox
isn't it?
was
Crazy.
very well known
Hello.
for it in that
Right.
decade.
The Earth gets sucked into war because of this shitty company, and it's still going into war because of said shitty company that's now profiteering off said war.
Hand
And
over the
they
company
really don't
to
care.
the Chigs and say, do what you like with them.
Can't do that. They have too many
You know,
military
can't do that, yeah.
contracts.
Right? But
Uh-huh.
now the guy's dead. Queen was
That's
flown
realistic.
up. And you don't know who planted the bomb. That's the thing. So, did this guy succeed in prolonging the war, the executive, by antagonizing the Chig?
Yes.
Was the bomb a backup plan, or was it somebody
There
else's
is
plan
a board
to
game
kill
here.
everybody? Or exactly, you don't get to know all this stuff. So they planted some really cool cliffhanger type things. It's clear they had good ideas.
There's a space and
They
beyond,
just
beyond
weren't allowed
board
to
game here.
execute them.
That carries it on.
Now, are you ready for the rest of the story?
No, does
No.
it continue?
Rest.
Make it
It
quick.
has
Please
recently
make it
come
quick.
out.
in their barracks, like holding hands and falling.
Oh,
asleep
that's not
together on
even
the
what I'm
rack, like,
talking about.
ugh.
It has come out that they have been researching, Disney has been researching series that Fox used to own for continuation or reboot.
Oh my god.
They're talking about rebooting.
They're talking
some
about
sci-fi series.
continuing Space Above and Beyond.
You're gonna
They were
have
looking at
Fresh
Serenity
West.
first.
Fresh
They were
West
looking
is
at Serenity
special.
first, but
No, it's going to be Admiral West by now. It's been 30
Admiral
years.
It's been a long
That's
war.
what it's going to be, right?
It's been a long
Admiral
war.
West and Colonel Hawks, probably, right?
Yeah,
He'll be
exactly.
Queen. Yeah,
General McQueen or something. Yeah,
yeah.
that's what.
That'd be
I
something
bet you
like
West
that.
will still be
That'd
alive.
totally
Probably where we're heading.
Out of
If
any
this
of the
ever
returning
happens.
characters, it'll be West.
Because
Well,
apparently
no,
they
if we're
had.
lucky, and
they
they
had
do
season
One at a
two
time,
all
one at a
written-
time.
series.
Hang on. One at a
Go ahead,
time.
Brian.
They had season 2 all written out at time of cancellation.
Yes, they did. Hmm.
They knew where this was going. It was supposed to be a 5-year plan.
Yep.
Got one.
Like Babylon 5, they had a whole idea what they wanted to tell, the story and everything. They were set for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things I liked about Babylon 5. They walked in with a plan, got what they wanted done, and did it. I really admire shows that manage to do that. Like The Mentalist, there's another one. There are several others that manage to pull that off, right? But so many of them get canceled too quickly. Case in point, Fox is really bad for the banhammer, right? On that kind of thing, like Smashy, no.
Fox is really bad
But-
for genre television.
Oh, they
unless
are
it hit-
so bad. Oh my
Takes
god.
off like a fucking rocket. They don't want to.
Right, like the X-Files. Right.
Does he?
Because look what they did to Serenity. That's the biggest one. That's their biggest fuck up right there.
Oh, Disney's
They
got to
screwed
come
the
back to
pooch
that.
so
It
bad
sounds
on
like.
that one.
I'm sorry.
Well,
They could've
I
made
was
billions.
just asking, are you okay?
Me? Yeah, sorry, I got a bit dizzy for a moment. I've been too good the past 2 or 3 days. Arthritis and everything has been fucking up. So, I get dizzy occasionally. It
We
happens.
understand.
I'm elderly, you know.
You're old.
Yeah, I
You're
am.
scattered.
I am. So,
Originally
Okay,
blonde.
Boomer.
here we Generation X, thank you very much. Where I'm one of the wild kids of fandom. There's a Generation X a reunion up at Derby in May. Oh, fuck. The trouble is, we'll be wanting to do everything, you know, and go out and be as mad as we used to be, but we do need to be in bed by 9 o'clock now.
Yes.
There's one possible
Much
saving
more
grace to
reasonable hours.
this reboot idea.
Right.
They're talking about not using original characters and doing it from a different angle, different characters and things. If they do that,
Fresh sweet
it might
not
actually
a
be
bad
good.
idea. Yeah.
It
Okay.
might actually be good then.
If they
try and pick
do
up
it
where
as a
left off.
strictly streaming series, there's a possibility it would be awesome.
Yes, if it's just
This,
streaming. If they
this
don't
would
try to
also
put it on
be on
TV,
Disney.
Yeah.
So...
and so it'll go straight to the Disney Channel.
Well, they're doing
They'll
Deadpool.
just stream it. That'll be cool.
So
Yeah, no, that's Marvel. That's Marvel.
it's still
Yeah,
Disney.
that's Marvel. That's not Disney.
It's not Disney.
It's still on a Disney channel.
but-
you know, the
But
It's
Disney
not
if
the
Plus
they-
same.
thing.
doesn't
This would
matter.
be a
They
series
didn't- it's-
on the Disney
Doesn't matter. It's
Channel.
Marvel
Okay.
created that. Disney did not create that. They didn't
No, I
produce
know-
that.
that's not
Marvel
what I'm
created
saying.
that.
That's not what I'm saying at all. I wasn't bringing Marvel into it at all. Anyway, that's the end of Space: Above and Beyond. I'm going to say it now, boys. Do you recommend it as a series people should watch?
I will for this reason and this reason alone.
Hmm.
Because in the evolution of science fiction shows, it actually has an important niche. It actually is kind of important to see what could have been, and they had a lot of good ideas. It was essentially World War II in space. All right, and they did a fairly good job, especially in the latter episodes of delineating that and bringing it forward and showing like some of the hardships of this warriors fighting it and so on. They were crippled by their parent company, by their limited special effects and a whole bunch of other things, but that didn't mean that they weren't able to accomplish some of their goals and accomplish them well. So, there was a lot of tripe back in the day, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't sift through the trash to find those gems. So,
That's
I
fair,
would say yes, there is a lot of really good, solid ideas in it.
Mhm.
The problem was overall network interference
yep.
in the execution.
Parent company,
Also,
ugh.
special effects back in the 90s.
Well, they were supposed to be good
planet
for their
looked like
day, weren't
Southern
they?
California. Let's
Yeah.
face it.
For those times, they were kind of cartoony, but
Yeah.
hey.
But overall, the ideas that they put forth can translate not only into good science fiction, but watchable science fiction.
That's good.
Yep.
And if done right, I mean, like the History Channel Vikings, right?
Oh man, yeah.
With that kind of quality, it could be freaking amazing.
Sorry, I'm just reminded of the History Channel's Martian War, Great Martian War. I don't know if you've seen that, have you?
No, wait, yes,
Oh,
yes, I
it-
have.
I mean, fair dues. The faked
Was that
footage
the-
is very good.
Oh yeah,
It's basically
No,
instead
my
of World
favorite
War
is
One's
the-
about to start, and then the Martians from War of the Worlds land.
my favorite is the Animal Planet,
God.
mermaids, and Megalodon, and the Cannibal
Right.
in the Jungle ones, and the Russian Yeti, the
What
killer
happened
lid.
to our serious documentary
Killer
channels?
Yeti.
You know, good God, you've now got to pay a subscription
That
to
would be
find
a pretty good
decent,
idea to approach things from, right?
decent-
I'm
This-
just
this-
saying that the History Channel has
crypto
had the
history kind of
better
thing?
science fiction than the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, but it's not been the
That's so
Sci-Fi
messed
Channel
up.
for a long time, is it? It's Siffy.
Yeah, Siffy.
50, right?
Sure,
What the hell is
syphilis.
Siffy?
That's what it is.
syphilis. Anyway,
Back when it was Sci-Fi, Invisible Man, Farscape, everything.
Doctor
is
Who.
going
was
on.
good.
Doctor
Farscape
Who,
was good.
Tomorrow People,
They had a lot
Dark
of
Shadows.
on that.
Right.
Tomorrow People.
haven't
Well, I
had-
don't know. Maybe it was on that. It was on Nickelodeon.
Remember, we've
That's
got
what I watched it on.
Yeah.
we
the only thing
we
they've
had a
got good
British
now is
sci-fi
Resident
channel.
Alien. Yeah.
So that's possibly where the difference lies. Okay, moving on.
We're going to start watching Resident Alien.
No. Much as I like Resident Alien, I thought I stopped on series 2 because I just thought it was getting too fucking soapy.
It's supposed to be.
I don't like soap. Anyway, we are going to be watching.
A lot of things from
as
the
I
time we could still
mentioned-
go back and refer
Shut
to.
up, Spanky! Bloody hell. Brian, stop putting 50p in him. Edge of Darkness we're doing next week,
Oh,
which is all of us. I ask you to give it a try, Brian.
I will.
And
I'll give it a shot.
I warn you now, it's a slow builder, and it ends in a place wildly different from where it starts.
Can
There's
you
also-
identify the sci-fi elements within the show?
I'm sorry, say again, please.
Can you identify the sci-fi elements within the show?
It's sci-fi that could actually be real. It's supposed to be real-world sci-fi. The sort of thing
So
that could
it's kind
actually
of like
happen.
that Danger Room or whatever the hell thing we watched. The one with the special government organization.
Doomwatch.
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 Thank you.
No.
Start
no,
with
no,
a
no,
D.
no, 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 no. Basically, there's a plainclothes police guy. He's investigating voting fraud in a local union, and then somebody tries to shoot him. I'm not going to say any more because it'll wreck it. And it's the investigation behind the shooting leading on to other things, sneaky, dark, evil things. Do you know an actor called Joe Don Baker?
Yes.
Ooh, vague bells.
He is in it, and he is Joe Don Baker.
He was in
two-
the Dukes of Hazzard movie, amongst other things.
He
used
was
to do a
also
lot
in.
of.
He's also in a lot of the Bond. He played Felix at one
Yeah,
point.
he was in a lot of Bond movies as Felix Leiter.
Yep.
He did a lot of like sort of action movies where he did like white guy karate. It was bad, but like, you know, the thing where they stick their hands out in front of him and then do like a really weird kick and go like that and the guy falls down, like it was that kind of thing.
So
But, you know,
speaking
back
of
in
our
the 70s and
fans,
60s.
speaking
Yeah.
for our fans,
Yes.
when are we going to start watching the $6 Million Man?
We're probably not.
And there you go.
I mean, once we've watched Edge of Darkness, and that is just 6 episodes, I might let you guys watch it if you want to. Well, it's not a case of letting you watch it, but, you know, we'll do it on the show. It's just I probably won't keep up. I might do. It's just a lot of the $6 Million Man is very... It's repetitive. It's only the good stuff like Bigfoot or the Death Probe that really gets you on the edge of your seat.
The
Normally
Fembots?
it's- Fembots are a little bit, oh, fucking hell, this is very 70s. And that's the only reason. It's
Okay,
very...
how about Babylon 5?
Babylon 5 I'd love to do, but the main problem
love
with that is there's
Hang on,
just
man.
too much of it. Now, we
5
discussed...
seasons.
I mean,
Yeah, that's well over 100
seasons.
weeks of a show.
The $6 Million Man did 5 seasons.
I did not know that. Again, that's another 100 weeks.
5? I thought it was 3.
Okay, Buck Rogers.
There you
1970 Buck Rogers. 1 season. 2 seasons, I'm
Two
sorry.
seasons. Will you do me a favour? Will you let me do some planning? I'm not dismissing that out of hand. I'm not dismissing
Okay.
any of this out of hand. I just want to find a way of doing it that isn't going to clog us up.
I just want shows that,
I would like to
that
put
aren't
this
going to
forth.
make me want to claw my eyes out.
I'm with you. No,
The trouble
I
is,
wanna-
my lover,
wanna
I
keep-
don't know until you've seen them if they're going to do that to you or not.
Land of the Lost. Sid and Marty
I want to
Krofft.
keep the $6 Million Man on the table because Marky Mark is supposedly making a $6 Million Man movie or trying to. He's really working. He's
Hang on, is
been
that the
fighting
musician,
for it, tooth and
Marky
claw.
Mark?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Mark Wahlberg, yes.
No, I think we're talking a different
He
Marky
is
Mark.
really trying hard to get this done. Well, I think he's grown a lot as an actor. So I, you know, for the underwear ads and all that trash aside, I kind of
Yeah,
like him.
it's definitely
So,
a
you
different Marky
know,
Mark.
I think he's grown a whole bunch. No, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch back in the day, that was him.
That's a
And
different
then-
Marky Mark to the one I'm thinking of. Spank.
I'm pretty sure isn't that Mark Wahlberg was Marky Mark and the
Dude!
Funky Bunch, right?
Dude, I know what's
I don't know,
going
maybe I'm
on
wrong. I
in
don't
my
know.
mind.
Darling,
I
I'm
know
happy
it's
for
a
you, and that's
different
fine, I
Marky
will give it
Mark.
to
Are you sure?
It doesn't matter. My point is,
Welcome
the
to the
$6 Million
Flashing
Man
Blade.
movie.
I hate it
20
when people
minutes
tell me
before
what
you know
I
who Marky
think.
Mark is.
It's a case of no, I know
Million
what's
Man
going on in
movie.
my mind.
not those made-for-TV ones, which are actually there were what 5 of them. Sandra Bullock was in one even. Actually, I don't know if you guys knew that.
Yes,
but-
Bionic Showdown.
yes,
the-
with the guy from with the vampire cop show, right? What was that called? Forever Night.
Yes.
Yeah.
We could
As
do
new,
Forever
like,
Night.
Next
That would
gen.
be an
Forever
awesome
Night.
show
That
to
would be
do.
another one. Yeah, absolutely.
The problem is they're all
Fantastic show.
American.
Wait a minute. There was a show.
Where?
In Britain. Wasn't it about a guy
British
who was immortal? Hang on a
archive
second. He was a knight,
television
and he was immortal.
show.
Sucks.
Siobhan.
Always has
There
been
was a
and
TV show,
always
right?
will be.
Way more American archive science fiction, horror, fantasy movies made by America.
Yes,
Well,
but
no,
we
just
don't want to
America
look at that,
saved it
Dross.
instead of
We
writing
want to look
over
at
it like
proper,
the BBC
decent,
did.
British, upstanding, fine,
I'm telling you, the
full-hatted
one-
wearing science fiction.
For such, I offer up then Out of the Unknown.
Now, funny
Was
you
the
should
one
say
about the
that.
guy running who was immortal?
Funny you should
And he's
say
on the
that.
run?
I
The
have,
fugitive
I
or whatever?
have
Yeah.
actually been looking into getting the Twilight Zone. And I'm
Oh,
happy.
no.
So, all right, what's the difference then? Why do you
The
like
Twilight
the
movie?
outer limits
The Outer
as
Limits?
opposed
Well,
to
Outer
the
Limits would
Twilight
be
Zone?
good.
Because they're similar
Twilight
sort of
Zone
things.
is fantastic compared to the Twilight Zone.
Nothing wrong
Really?
with Twilight Zone.
Really?
Twilight Zone's good.
Yeah.
Outer Limits are
Well,
good.
what's-
They're all good.
what's the
What was the
difference?
other one? Oh, no. What was the other one? What was it? Fuck. It was a kind of more horror. Fuck. Theater of something, right? Theater of Darkness or some shit.
Tales from the
Can
Dark
anybody
Side.
remember? Not Tales from the Dark Side. It was made back
Tales
at
from
the
the
same
Crypt?
time made at the same time as Twilight Zone and the other thing we just said. There was another show like that. Bugger me. I cannot remember now. It's bugging
I
me.
feel I
I'll
should
find it
remember, even
and
though
I'll
it's
post it.
American history, and I shouldn't necessarily know that. But for some
The hell
reason,
was it?
There's Friday the 13th, the series. Oh my God, that's horrible.
no, I
Let's watch
think.
it.
Way
now, you see,
before
the
that,
problem I've
yeah.
got here, okay, we're going to have to do a vote, and I think a little bit you're going to have the casting vote. I don't
There's
know.
War of the Worlds, the series.
The
The aliens coming out of the
I know the
shirts
theme
like
tune.
that. Yeah, it's horrible.
It's not
Let's
a brilliant
watch it.
series, though.
It's horrible. Let's watch
that's
it.
not. No. Okay, guys, it's a choice out. You and Brian sort this out, Spanky. We'll either do Out of the Unknown, not Out of the Unknown. Sorry,
No.
The Outer Limits, or the Twilight
Night
Zone.
Gallery.
Night Gallery. There you go.
I
Night
wouldn't
Gallery's
mind
the
seeing
one, damn it.
Kolchak the
That would
Night
be good too.
Stalker.
Kolchak.
Right.
Night
Yes,
Stalker
let's
would be
do
great
it.
too.
Kolchak
Kolchak
I've
was
got.
awesome. Night Stalker? Hell yeah.
I've got Kolchak.
Kolchak.
If we can
Kolchak
find a
the
way
Night
of,
Stalker. Boom, done.
if we can
Kolchak,
find a way of
start
getting
with
me
the
to,
movie. start
well,
with the
hang on.
movie.
We've got to find a way of getting me to be able to see it. That's the problem.
We can make that happen.
But
We
yes,
can
make it
I
this is the
would very
21st
much
century, I
like to
can make
watch
shit
it.
happen.
I've never seen it, and I've heard good things. It's the
Yeah, on
inspiration
our
for the
podcast.
X-Files. So
Next week, let me get this straight because I'm trying to write it down for us
All right,
all.
now
Next week, it's Doctor Who season 13, episode 6, Brain of Morbius is where that starts. Big Finish, UFO series 2, Callan, which we haven't talked about yet, but it's going to be
mhm.
season 4,
Season.
episode 3, First Refusal,
Yeah,
and the BBC limited series Edge of Darkness.
yes,
That's what we have so far.
that's
Anything else?
that's it.
Okay, that's it. Cool.
You've got the list.
Alrighty, I'm putting that
And
in
you
there,
have access
and
to everything you
we'll
need
talk
to.
about his Callan. Good.
So basically, Brian, you and Spanky
Call me,
work
sir.
out. Oh no, I don't need to. I'm so sorry. No, you're quite right. We're looking at Kolchak the
Kolchak.
Night Stalker.
Kolchak,
And
yeah.
that'll be an
Give
ongoing
me-
thing.
Give me a little while because I know I have it on DVD. I may have it
Very cool.
saved as a file.
No, it's
Let me
it's
look.
it's well, we've still got not quite a few episodes. A few episodes of Callan to go first, so you've got time.
We'll find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good.
Because we did not that long ago, maybe a year ago ish. We did it for one of our Halloween
It's
episodes.
very hard to keep track of them, isn't it?
I know there's a lot of
I
them.
mean,
But we-
Mixcloud. I look at the
Scores
show on
me.
Mixcloud,
Oh,
and
man.
because it doesn't have a proper description on it, I've no fucking idea what's going on in any of them.
So I've looked at both films and then the TV series.
Okay, so you got a head start, Brian. I suspect you've got a head start. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it, and I want to. To be fair,
It's pretty good.
so they're good. That's everyone's happy. That's good. That's rare.
No, and they had the guy from Darren McGavin or whatever who was
Yeah.
on so many different shows. That guy's been in so many things. My God.
And he wears a good hat.
Ah,
Yes.
you've
Yes,
sold
he
it
does.
to
He
me.
does.
You've
He
sold
wears
it
a
to me at
proper
once.
hat.
I was going to
He wears
mention
a
the
proper
Sylvester
hat.
McCoy hat, but you know,
He wears a proper newsman's hat.
And there's
Um,
a series of different hats.
oh,
You know, they
I'm
did
in
a remake
heaven.
of that also. They did a remake of that, and I can't remember the actor's name, but it was the
Oh,
guy who was
It
in
was
the
called The X
the
Files.
Vampire Lestat or
Bad.
whatever.
I've seen the first. It's bad.
I saw it. I thought it could have been worse. I kind of liked a couple of the episodes. The first
Dude.
episode I don't think was very good.
Dude,
But
you
like,
you
as
are
the season
saying
progressed, it was okay.
you've been saying the same about Callan. I've been saying we are not doing the wet job, and you're going, oh, why not?
Why not?
It's shite.
It's
That's
part
why
of the
not.
Callan.
It's part of the
part of the-
Callan thing. You take the
it
good
is
and you
part
take
of
the
the
Have you
bad.
already
Callan-
watched it?
The wet job. I can't even remember if I have.
It's
I don't
the
think so.
remember.
one set a few years later.
Just remember, with these series, you take the good, you take the bad.
Yeah,
you
but
take
that's
them
why I
both.
ask you
There
to.
you have.
That's why I ask you to be patient with Edge of Darkness. It's a brilliant edge of seat thriller.
I will give this a shot.
made in
Since we
81.
are going to Kolchak next.
And also, we get to play Joe Gets It Wrong, which we haven't been able to do since Joe left the podcast.
One second.
She used to get Ash, what was going on with Ashes to Ashes wrong every week. And it was a regular occurrence. And so we're going to be playing this with Edge of Darkness, where at the end of every episode I'm going to say,
To be
right,
fair,
what's going to happen next?
Well, Booty,
Because
hello,
you won't know what's going to happen next, because it can go.
hey, I have offered to do Ashes to Ashes for the
Rubber boy.
Patreon.
I know,
Come
but
here, Rubber boy. Come here. Okay, everybody see the wolf booty?
no.
Say hello.
Hello, Wolfie.
Hello, Ichiban. Hello, Ichiban. There we go. Okay.
Happy little doggy
Well, got
boy.
camera time. Yeah, it's a good boy here.
Yes, so
I know what you want. You want one of these, don't you? Yeah.
the problem with Patreon is I don't have the energy to come up with lots of extra stuff. I know I just don't have the energy anymore. I mean, this is why I used to edit the hell out of the podcast with an into its life. I haven't got that energy, or the brain fog's too much. You know, it would be fun to set one up, but I don't know, aside from you watching Ashes to Ashes, I don't, which is a long thing to ask you to do, apart from anything else,
hour.
especially if you're not enjoying it. Yeah, but over 3 seasons?
Yes, but you get to watch to torture me. I'm sure there are a lot of viewers that would enjoy
I know
that.
I make jokes, but I don't actually enjoy that. I want you to enjoy every second of this. That's why I'm always hopeful you're happy
So
with
far
things.
from what I have seen of it, the only part I would seriously enjoy would be Keeley Hawes.
That's because you're
Keely
pre-vet.
Hawes. That was
The-
what, 1980 or something? 2008 or something?
Yeah, 2006.
Right.
2006, 2008.
And the
Actually, I think
chance
that's
there's
on
going to be
BritBox.
another one, with both Sam
there isn't.
and... have
No,
you
there
said? Have you sent them a note?
Not if I
Oh, it's
kill
in my watch
everyone
list,
involved
okay.
in the process. I'm just saying.
He didn't like Life on Mars. He didn't like Life on Mars at all. I hope this one is.
hated
But all I'm
every
going to say to
single
you is,
minute.
be engaged by the plot, and Rosie,
Yes,
Kitty.
she has come to join us.
hello, baby girl.
It's in my...
She
Be
wants my
intrigued
brownie.
by the
cats are
characters
not
and
allowed
how
to have
well they're
chocolate.
drawn and how well they're acted, and wait for the plot to go bonkers. At first, it's like an ordinary police investigation thing, and then it goes nuts. You go deeper and deeper and deeper and peel layer after layer after layer, and there's some really tense moments in it, and as well as some very familiar actors. Churchill's in it. I don't mean the dog that goes, oh, yes. I mean Ian McNeice, who played Churchill in Doctor Who. Who plays... oh, God, there's so many actors in this. All the names are coming at me at once. John Woodvine's in it. He plays Craven's boss. He was the marshal in the Armageddon Factor. Oh, there's so many. Like I say, Joe Don Baker. Yeah, it's great.
Hey, Lilibet, do you happen to have the titles of the 2 Kolchak movies?
One is Kolchak the Night Stalker. That's
Yeah.
the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Crackle of Death, right?
I'm sorry?
Crackle of Death. I think it was called Crackle of Death.
That's a great
No,
title.
it's not-
That was the other
That's
movie?
not the movie. No, because it's The Night Strangler.
1974?
The Night Strangler.
Oh,
is
maybe
the
that
other
that
movie.
was one
The
of
Night
them.
Strangler.
Was that
Thank
the one
you.
they
Night
didn't get to
Strangler.
make then?
Possibly. Because then
The first, the two Toe
wouldn't-
Tech compilation films. Never mind. That's the compilation one. My bad.
Right.
Okay.
So, moving on, because believe it or not, we're 15 minutes past 2 hours. You can tell one of us has
Not
come
me
back, can't you?
first.
It's the
You're welcome.
no, it's the same. Whoever is missing, we lose half an hour of the show. Doesn't matter who it is. And then when they come back, bang, the show's longer again. It's uncanny, quite frankly. Right then, the section's got a slight problem. You see, Hunter has to move on. He has been seconded somewhere else. They also have a problem of what to do about Callan, because last week, as we saw, Callan had been captured by the Russians and interrogated and was a bit of a mess when they gave him back. And he has basically been out in the country, recuperating, being debriefed and all that sort of stuff. They've got two problems. Why don't they? Because Callan is finished in the field. He is. He's just too well known. They'll shoot him straight away. Tell you what, let's offer him the job of hunter. And boy, does that not go down at all well. He's being asked to become the man he hates, dishing out all the horrible, deadly jobs. He makes the point in the thing, you want me to sit in that chair? Do you know how much I've hated that chair?
You know what happened to the last guy sat in that chair? And he's like, well, this one's walking away, right?
Yeah, the last two weren't, though, were they? So Callan eventually, because he doesn't want to have to go back out in the field, says yes. And it's a bizarre thing for him to do. You would not have expected him, but as he said, he's sick to death of being shot at, apart from anything else. So Callan takes over the section. It's called Hunter. He's given a swanky pad in Mayfair, all alarmed and everything else like that. People on his door, a driver. Of course, this does lead to one slight little smelly problem. Lonely, because Callan has been away for a few months. Lonely's sort of almost got himself into trouble again, and it's yeah. So it's basically this is just the story of Callan taking over as hunter and pulling his first sting on somebody, and doing quite a good job actually. So Spanky.
Okay, so
There's not a huge amount in this.
Callan. Well, the thing is that you can actually see Callan growing through the series, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the really good parts is you see what's his name, Bishop, come in and acknowledge that
Hunter's
that
boss.
Callan actually has some tactical skill, and he kind of makes an offhand attribution to his love of war games. Not his toy soldiers, but he actually is kind of respectful about it.
He is, because of the whole strategy stuff behind it.
Right, exactly. And that's because actually the British military, the American military, they all have games like that they play, that they encourage officers amongst others to play, to engage their tactical thinking. And the one the Marine Corps has is called TAC War. I wish I could get a set of it. It would be awesome. But this has evolved over time, and it's been around for more than 100 years, so it's an established practice, and it's good that they actually acknowledge it in the show, as well as being able to illustrate how it affects Callan's thinking and his kind of command of the field that he's on.
This is what I've often said. There are certain things like, you say you're you RPG, for example, if you go for a job, and other outside interests. And so, well, what could RPG to you? Well, I can organise things. I can, I can plan. I can organise. I can carry out. I have to work with other team members, including Spanky. You know,
Definitely.
it's a very skilled job. Same with being a guild leader for a big guild in something like World of Warcraft or whatever.
Organize all these
You've
people,
got so
rando
much
people,
man
get stuff
management
done, right?
to do and tiptoeing. People, employers should look at that and think, well, they must have some skill there. You know, it's not just a silly old game. It reaches a level when it starts, it's obvious that your skills are needed and on show. So...
So, I think that one that his growth there is illustrated, but also this sets up some, again, as every episode does, things for the future, right? We get to see Mears again.
Mm-mm.
We get to see
No, we don't.
Cross.
We get to see Cross.
No,
we
I'm
don't
sorry,
get
that's
to see
actually in the
Mears.
next one. My bad.
So spoil it for everyone. Okay.
I'm sorry, I spoiled it. My bad. Mea culpa. I apologize.
See, this is what
Hate
really
spoilers.
peed me off about you watching ahead, because I like to see the expression of joy when you say something, and it's a case of, no, you watched it several weeks ago
I'm
now.
always thrilled about it, but what we see here is Cross actually, because if I remember right, this is where Snell starts picking on him.
No, not yet.
Isn't it this?
Not yet.
This one?
No,
Maybe
Snell's not in
Anyway.
this one. No, this is
But
all about
you can tell
Callan.
that Cross, he really wants to
He
be
resents
Callan.
the job.
Well, I don't know so much that, but you really get the sense that Cross wants to be Callan.
Well, yeah, I mean, he got Callan's
He's
job
not like
when Callan
Mears,
was
where
away.
he's not from that side of the tracks. He's more like Callan and where he came from, the way he acts, the way he thinks. He's a little bit more polished, maybe, but not really. He's the younger version. He's not as good as Callan, but he really wants to be Callan.
Yes.
And you can tell he's having a hard time trying to either learn from Callan or trying to show him he's just as good and can,
He's a
stand
bit
beside
too
him.
try hard, and
It's
the
a funny
problem
thing.
is he's also got
Well,
a nasty
he's that
side
young
to him.
dog. He's that, right, he does have a really nasty
And he
side,
needs
right,
to
just like
hold
Callan
that
does,
in
but
until it's actually necessary, rather
he doesn't
than
have he doesn't have
randomly.
the control over his nasty side and the
No.
judgment brought on by experience
As
and
we will,
honestly greater
as we
wisdom
will find
that
out.
Callan has.
We will find this
Right.
out during the
So
series.
he makes some foolish decisions sometimes. He's that younger dog that really wants to show the alpha that he's just as good, and is a full-fledged member of the
Spanky,
pack or
don't
whatever.
worry, you're
But
just as good as me. It's all right.
I believe
Okay.
it's okay. But it really
Brian,
is
you're not.
important for him, and unfortunately, yeah, because I know how much the story develops. It's always I'm like running ahead, huh? So I apologize for that. But this sets up so much
Yes.
that's important, and this is because actually this series doesn't last much longer, really.
No, this is the end of it. Yep.
That things start moving so rapidly that it's actually kind of hard to keep up with. And so from here on, everybody watching is going to have to really pay attention because there is so much going on. So much. Oh my God. It's really difficult to keep up with. Yes, ma'am. What?
Forgive
Your
me
finger
here.
is up? What?
Is anybody out
Okay.
there actually watching along with us? Is there anybody out there?
Watching this? Is it just you and me?
I think it's just you and me, love.
That's terrible. You guys really should check out Callan. It is like
There
one of the
are
best
no
shows
guys for them to check out.
ever made.
There's
Oh
no
my God.
audience, Spanky. We
What
are
do you
just
mean,
shouting
no
into
audience?
the void. The whole
Oh,
point of
know.
this is just so we can hang out and have a laugh.
It's true, but I know Callan. I love this show. I really admire good writing, and this is for TV, for BBC, for
ITV.
any network. This is such ITV. Excuse me, such a beautiful example of masterful writing.
Do you know the
My God.
opening logo thing with Thames, with the bridge and everything else
Uh-huh.
like that? That piece of music
Yep.
is a soundtrack to my generation. Do 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 do.
Really?
Ba, 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 ba. Every night you'd hear it all around the place as people were watching ITV. It's Thames
Yeah,
Television.
well, like 9 episodes left. Yeah.
It used to when I was little, they had Count Duckula
Yes.
on
Oh yeah.
was it Nickelodeon? It must have been
Probably,
Nickelodeon.
yeah, I would have thought so.
And so that was the first place I saw that.
Yeah. that Thames
So
that
for
Thames
me, it
Idents
goes
is
directly into the Count Duckula theme.
because at the start and end of the Flashing Blade, we've got the
So is that, or what was the
70s
mouse?
and the
Danger
80s.
Mouse or something, right?
Danger Mouse, yeah.
We've got the 70s and
Danger
the 80s.
Mouse.
I will get this out without you interrupting me, Spanky.
No, you won't.
No, I know. It's a vain hope. At the beginning and end of every single Flashing Blade, you have the 1970s and the 1980s musical idents for channel television, which was where I grew up in Jersey. So that's what those little things are. I just chucked them out to Fadian Publishing underneath them. Little behind-the-scenes thing there for those that didn't know. So we enjoyed that episode of Callan, did we?
Oh yes, I always enjoy Callan. I really love the show. I couldn't recommend it enough to people. And it just Callan is freaking awesome. Honestly, anyone I think would enjoy it if they gave it half a chance.
That was a subtle
It
hint
is
there.
amazing. Such a great show. Honestly, I mean, it's honestly rare to find really, really good writing and a director who lets the writing actually happen. You know, a lot of times they try and they take a show that's well written and then they try and
And
do
then it
so many
becomes
other things
their
with
show.
it that they end up running the story.
Yeah.
Right. You know, they can't just let the story happen. I'm trying to think of what was the show,
It's also
the
excellent
Closer?
characterization, to be fair, and acting.
Yeah, that they turned into that. It was about a woman who was a CIA interrogator that starts working for the cops, and they turned it into something called like Prime Murder or some kind of shit like that. But like it was about this woman who, the whole point of the thing was she got suspects in a interrogation room and interrogated them. So it was intensely dialogue driven, where she would brilliantly talk these people into confessions by outsmarting them. And the writer was smart enough that they actually wrote that out. Like these brilliant conversations where these very smart people were getting tricked by this much smarter woman. And it was incredible. And this is the same kind of thing. It's that level of just brilliant writing. And it's allowed to actually be brilliant. It's such a rarity, honestly, in television particularly, that whenever I find it, I gush like a fangirl. I don't care. Cut glass, all that. Yeah, because it's awesome. I love it. One of the greatest shows ever. So, yeah.
You've no idea how this is making my heart sing. It really is. Because I absolutely adore Callan as well. I didn't see it on first transmission. I saw it when it was repeated in the 80s on Channel 4. It was a regular on Saturday nights. Maybe that either should
I caught piecemeal episodes like that broadcast in America.
Yeah, but we said about another 9 episodes, you said, Spanks. There's things to happen.
Yeah, I think 9 more
episodes.
episodes.
Say Callan is now
You're right.
Hunter. And we're going to see what happens with that. We're not going to say any more, Spanky.
No, we will not.
And
Although if you've been watching, you can imagine how that'll turn out. But that's all I'll say.
spoilers from a show from 1971. I just love watching other people's faces when they discover these things and enjoy them. It just,
Yeah.
I just.
I mean,
love
if I
it.
could
really
point these
do.
to more people, right? There's so much good out there artistically in the world that, you know.
And I mean, I'm a
and people
champion
go, oh, it's
for.
black and white. Oh, that's crap or something.
I'm a
Why?
champion for
What makes it
British
crap?
archive TV because I know there's just so much goodness there.
Like for all archive
And
TV,
unfortunately-
anything, there's so much good out there.
So much of British
It's not bad
archive
because it's
TV
all-
doesn't
yeah.
exist anymore. I'm not just talking about Doctor
Exactly,
Who. There's
that's another thing.
all over the place. I mean, there's Callan's missing a load of episodes.
Done, yeah.
First and
And that's
second
another thing.
series
The more
especially.
people that pick this up and get involved and like it, and that it gets known, maybe there'll be a greater effort to restore it. Maybe someone will come forward and have some lost episodes or something. Like you never know. So
It would be nice, to be fair. I have to admit,
Fingers
I've
crossed,
no
like-
idea how active the Callan fandom is, even if there is a Callan fandom.
it's a very small. There's a
So-
Facebook group somewhere I saw,
Really?
and
I'll
there are a
have to
couple
look that
other
up.
things. Yeah,
And say,
Yeah.
come and listen to our non-reviews of Callan.
right. Yeah, reviews of Callan. Gosh,
No, non-reviews, because we're not
But-
very good at it.
not for that terrible, but that's okay.
Because I like
Um,
that one, and that's about it. But
I'm trying to remember. This is where they actually have to deal with Lonely as well, because Lonely has been running his mouth too much. in Call Me Sir. And Cross is given Lonely as a red file, which means kill him. And Lonely gets blown up, not killed, but
Well,
not
it's his
by
own
Cross.
fucking silly fault, quite frankly.
It's his own fault because he was going to.
He was handling C4
Here,
or jelly.
handle some jelly, and it's
Sweaty
gel-ignite
jelly.
explosive.
He's
which
been
is
walking around
essentially
London with it.
To nitroglycerin, right? You don't want to drop that
No!
or something, right? He's driving around with
Even a
it in the
sneeze could
back
send
of
it
a
off.
truck, shoved in the back of an old refrigerator, and he's banging through traffic and over dirt roads and stuff. Is it any wonder the thing blew up? Like, I'm surprised it didn't get it when he was in the middle
But
of
there's
London.
a great
like,
answer to the
okay.
whole red file thing, because Callan is really unhappy about Lonely being put in a red file. So former Hunter turns around and goes, well, take him out then. It's down to you. It doesn't have to be in a red
Take him out,
folder.
right?
It's down to you. Oh,
Right, take him
power.
out. But you have to justify your decision.
Yes.
This is what I was kind of surprised of. And the only time I'll fault their writing that I can at least remember. He ends up making Lonely a driver for Section.
You're going ahead, love.
Like a cabbie. He's in a cabbie in a radio vehicle, right? So they have a mobile command communication
Spanky,
post,
Spanky,
which is smart.
Spanky,
They need one.
Spanky.
Yes. What?
You're leaping ahead. We're not there yet.
Sorry, I don't mean to. But my point is that why doesn't he save Lonely because the skills that Lonely has are what Callan has that make him so valuable to Section. Why doesn't he bring him in like that?
Because the man's got a mouth on him the size of the Mersey Tunnel, and you only have to blink at him and
He
he'll
can still
crumble.
train these guys.
Nah, no.
He can
Callan
still
does the
train
right
'em.
thing, but that's for later.
just saying.
All right? That's for later. You can't bring someone like Lonely into the Section. It wouldn't work.
You don't have to bring him into the office and have him sit.
I mean,
security
he's-
briefings,
I mean,
but he
I
can
think it
definitely
was
show
this-
Cross and guys how to pick locks.
I think it was this. Well, so can Callan. I think it was this episode where
His time's
Lonely
better spent.
finally works out that Callan's a spy. Christ, it took him long enough.
Yes.
Except he thinks
He
he's
gets
a
it wrong.
communist
Oh.
spy.
He's a commie spy. Yeah, too funny. Oh
And
my
we
God.
know how much Lonely likes those.
Yes. You put me in a cell with a spy, Mr. Callan. It's not right. These other lovely rapists and perverts and murderers are cool, but you put me in with a spy. Like, that's where you draw the line, Lonely? Damn, dude, really?
Oh,
Okay.
man. Anyway, moving on. That's it.
Okay, moving on.
So, next
That's
week,
the end of it.
we have The Brain of
stop
Morbius,
that.
because we've got to get it over and done with.
of Morbius, yeah.
We have UFO Set 2 from Big Finish. We have the first episode of the BBC's Edge of Darkness. Not the movie, but the first episode. If you enjoy Edge of
Series.
Darkness, the series, and you want to, at the end, we can watch the, I think it was Mel Gibson film version of it. It's a bit like The Wet Job.
No, I've heard about that.
Yeah,
That's
it's a bit like The
stinker.
Wet Job. Trust me, this is so much better than that fucking film. Oh, Jesus. Like I say, without upping it too much, personally, I think it's one of the best ever pieces of British drama. So, television drama. So, I just have high hopes, and I'm hoping to God you enjoy it. I'll be so upset if you don't. Yeah, I can tell I've moved you. Yeah.
Oh,
I've
I always
already
love stuff
gotten the
like this,
playlist for Kolchak.
Oh, good.
started,
Oh, is that on
so-
YouTube?
Mm.
Or are
Check
you
up
talking
and
about
check
your
it
own
out.
thing?
done.
Brian put a link up for it, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah,
right. I'll have a little look.
It's in
afterwards.
general.
It's in general.
I'll have a little look in a moment. Then. That's quite pleased. I'm looking forward to that.
That's just the movies. However, we're going to have to do the normal thing for
yeah.
the
So,
series.
Brain of Morbius, UFO, Edge of Darkness, and then the next episode of Callan. And again,
I don't know. Spanky already pretty much went into
Well,
the next
he
one.
did,
Pretty much
didn't he,
blew that
really?
one out, and then, That's all right, because there's so much overlap and things get so complicated. It's okay if I give spoilers, because we'll have to refer back. You'll see.
Plus,
oh my God.
you know,
if y'all
it-
ever watch it, you'll see how crazy
it's
this
a
gets.
40, almost 50-year-old
Yeah,
TV show.
yeah.
So.
You know, it doesn't matter. Just because something's
Spoilers
old,
are
don't mean it's
optional.
worthless, man. It's great. It's just wow. Love it. Goodness. Pure.
Brian, what are you up to
Lovely.
this week? Apart from Diablo 4.
I'm not playing Diablo 4 this week.
Was
It's
it
only
just
on
the weekend
weekends.
that the
Yeah.
beta was? Oh, I'm
Next
sorry.
weekend is yet another one, and finally they'll open up Necromancer and Druid, which are the classes. Justin,
I
really
want
play.
to play Necromancer because I always play Necromancer in Diablo, but I don't think I'm going to be buying it because it's 60 quid, and I can't justify that.
No worries. But yeah, we have that. I'm going to be doing a little bit more Foundry work.
Mhm.
And we have another game
On
on
Saturday?
Saturday at 3
This
p.m.
Saturday, right?
Eastern.
It's all right.
1500.
I've got it in
You're
my head.
14:30.
I've got it in my head. Don't worry.
No.
we're
Don't
gonna
trust
be
the head.
half
Put
an
it
hour
on
early.
your phone.
The trouble
on
is,
your
it
phone,
doesn't
honey, right,
actually
'cause-
remind me. That's the
We
can
have to
problem.
set
be
it
here
to-
half an hour
you can
early
set
too,
it to.
Auntie. So Siobhan, remember it's 14:30, 2:30 our time, not
I'd see it.
3 o'clock,
Alexa.
but 2:30.
Remind Auntie that there's a game at 3 p.m.
game
Eastern
Saturday at-
time.
I'm sorry,
Saturday,
I
right?
can't do that. I'm not currently connected to the sound. All right, so that's next week. It should be fun, hopefully. Two Fan Dinosaurs is back on Friday. We've made it. We're at Legopolis, parts 1 and 2. And remember, we will be having that Blu-ray competition. Chance to win Season 18
Pass our love
Blu-ray.
on to our favorite dictator.
I shall do. Oddly enough, he's meeting with another dictator the week after. It's El Presidente. And as well as the new boy. 116 questions on Carnival.
I was an El
Monsters.
Presidente for a while. El Presidente.
I'm just
dictator
saying, you got
review, but
74
I-
out of 108 questions
70.
right.
That's
You're like
pretty good.
70.
You need-
That was on the
so
Three
much
Doctors. Carnival of Monsters, I was a lot less.
Yeah.
laying this down.
But I'm setting the
But
standard for everybody else he insists he has to torture. Boy ain't right. That's all I'm saying. The boy ain't right. Yeah. So that's it, boys and girls. Good God. You know we've been going for 2 hours, 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's time for me
yeah,
to go to
just about,
bed.
right? That's a good thing. Yeah.
Darkness won't invade your head, for you can see in infrared how you hate the night.
No, it's because I get
Thank
up
you,
at
Lilibet.
5:30 in the frickin' morning.
Yep, I'm back to work and 5 a.m.'s wake up calls tomorrow.
Yeah, it's time to go to bed.
Testing.
All right, guys. We will see you either next Sunday, next Friday for Two Fan Dinosaurs, next Saturday on Thaco Gaming on their Twitch channel for the RPG, and then back here on Sunday for the Flashing Blade. Have a lovely time. Say goodbye, folks.
Goodbye, folks.
Goodbye, folks.
Oh, bless. He remembered how to do it.
Let's see if we get the right logo.
You've got to
Hopefully we
fight
do.
for what you want, for all that you believe. It's right to fight for what we want, to live the way we please. As long as we have done our best, then no one can do more. And life and love and happiness are well worth fighting for. They're well worth fighting for.
This week's person unable to keep quiet during the closing credits was not John Levine, it was Spanky.
Woohoo.
Goat! Told you.